Warning, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Wow, ba, the red said your way to piano. Wow, ba, one out the roll pants. Men perceive the common say, now go for the cassette, was soft one in the road where your pants, men penisa. What you say? It's wow, no ba, oh, roll pants, no soft penny, may you what I asked the amount. Hallelujah. Amen. It is said, you're not making Leviticus and Samuel, said your kind. Was it the what's the ano? Why are they one in whom me?
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click that link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, first and foremost, to those who celebrate, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Resurrection Day. I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday. I hope you and your family are getting together, doing all the things that family do. Salute to all of you, and to everybody who don't celebrate. Salute to you too. I totally understand. I'm in that boat. So much love to you, whether you celebrate or whether you don't. Today's your day. Go on and do whatever you're going to do. But with that being said, family, we got to do some talking. Today in the church, we're going to speak about, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay. We're going to speak about a few things today. But the number one thing I want to speak about today is discernment. Discernment. And I don't mean the over-convoluted, Christian definition of it. I mean the basic definition of discernment, which means the ability to judge well. That's going to be a big theme of today's broadcast, because we got a lot of folks running around here speaking a lot of nonsense, and they're in the position to have people lend them their ears. So it's very, very important that we speak about discernment. It's very, very important that we speak about the ability to understand and know when someone is actually there for you and someone isn't. Because if you're not able to do so, you're going to be a sheep led to the slaughter by whatever shepherd you claim is supposed to be a man of God. So let's go. First, before we do anything, first and foremost, give a shout out, see who's in the chat already. Shalom, excuse me. Salute and be one to our sister, Miss Nisi. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. Shalom. And be one to our sister, Black Spider. Thank you for being here, my sister. Still Kevin Trees. Thank you for being here, my brother. The Big Black God. Thank you for being here, family. Tree Blood, the Walking Switch. Thank you for being here, family. Angelic Elena, thank you for being here, my sister. And I know my brother isn't in the chat, but to my brother, Black Truth United, thank you very much for your Cash App starting it off early. I appreciate your contributions, and your donation is blessed tenfold. Now let's get into it, family, because there's a lot of things that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. I just had to kind of make a choice on whether I wanted to do a video or whether I wanted to do it in a broadcast. But with all the things and all the different people who are claiming to be men and women of God or whatnot, I felt it very necessary to do this on the Sunday. And why not on a Sunday service address? Why not on the Resurrection Day? Because we're going to talk about, the Spirit of Christ. It's my firm belief that the Spirit of Christ was resurrected in foundational Black Americans. That spirits of rebellion that spirit of revolution. I feel like, and this is just me, I might be wrong, but I feel like that spirit is what we embody. You don't really find anybody outside of America, outside of foundational Black Americans, that embody that same spirit. You just don't. And so a lot of the things I've been wanting to talk about shows these people who do not embody that same spirit, but then uses the church to try to push the spirit that Christ did not come with, which is that spirit of fearfulness, that spirit of bowing down, worshiping the oppressor in the situation. So I want to go here first. I know it's pretty old. It ain't that old, but it's old enough. But I want to go here first. We don't worship the same gods, family. Let's go. Now, in case you haven't seen this, family, this is a video from Kenya when our Black Hebrew Israelite brothers went over there to do some fellowshipping and to talk about God. And one of the brothers said, Jesus is Black. And it set all these people off. Now let's get back into it. All right, family, we're not going to watch that full thing because it's really repetitive. But I know what the family must be thinking, because I was thinking the same thing when I first saw this video. Damn. What did they do to make them Negroes that mad? And family, it's real interesting that it's very simple and plain what they did. They went over there thinking that they had camaraderie with a bunch of people, and they quite frankly didn't. And the truth of the matter is they got really mad at them because of the fact they were going against their oppressor's narrative. You see, if they went over there speaking like them Nabisco missionaries, salute AB, thank you for being here, family. If they went over there speaking like them Nabisco missionaries, if they went over there preaching the gospel of white Jesus, those kingings would be falling to their damn feet, praising them, lifting them over their heads, proclaiming that they are messengers of God. But since that was not the case, since they went over there trying to disconnect our brothers and sisters over in Africa, disconnect them from white Jesus, Sky Daddy. Oh, they wasn't having that. Salute, William Aaron. Thank you for being here, family. Oh, they wasn't having that one bit. Let's go here.
We went to a church yesterday. We were teaching outside. As soon as the church heard Jesus was black, they were infuriated. We were just reading the scripture. They got so mad, they threw rocks. Why? Because a lot of you in Kenya hate yourself. You hate the way you look. You hate anything black. Why? Because it upsets your European colonizers.
That's exactly what it is, family. They're so upset. They were so upset about what these brothers were saying. They started stoning these guys like it was the Middle Ages. Like it was the Middle Ages. And some people might say, well, you know, that might just have been, you know, the thought process of, you know, one of those guys or a few of those people. It doesn't mean everybody worships white Jesus. Well, to that, I would have to disagree. I would have to disagree. And the reason why is because there's a lot of instances where we have them not just worshiping white Jesus, but white people as a whole. Let's go here. This is the image that they wanted him to preach on. This is the image that they're used to. This is the image that they bow down to every single Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's what they do. Shalom and salute to our brother Damon Reeves. Thank you for being here. Shout out to our brother DSB. Shalom and salute, and thank you for your Cashapp donation, family. Your gift is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution, family. Salute to our brother Christopher Ellis. Thank you for being here, family. This is the image that they want to see. So when our Hebrew Israelite brothers went over there and said, no, we got to disconnect you from the Sky Daddy that you love so much, that's not him. If anything, that would be the Antichrist. If Jesus is a black man and they depict him as a white man, by definition, that would be an Antichrist. And these men and women in Kenya, they're out here literally worshiping Caesar Bullion. Pope Alexander's, I believe it was his son. They don't want to know about the real Christ. So I'm not surprised. I am not surprised, family, because this is how, I know y'all saw this video, this is how they act when it comes to white people in general.
Black Africans and African Americans do not claim Black Americans. We are not the same. African tends to focus on progress, family values, and community upliftment, rather than dwelling on historical grievances. They prioritize education and hard work. They don't live life blaming the white man for all their failures, challenges, or the choices that they make. Many Africans strive to give their children better opportunities and instill values like hard work and responsibilities. They don't raise their kids to hate the white man and blame them for all of their problems. That's why they can't grow. Africans are hard workers and they work on self-improvement. They hold themselves accountable for their actions instead of making everything about race and blaming the system. True Africans do not celebrate when a white kid loses his life to a black kid. The decent Black Americans out there, we claim you, we see you, and we love you. Thank you for being a decent.
Yeah, family, these people are out here not only lost, but they're delusional. They're talking about, we're not out here blaming the system. Well, you can't blame a system because where you come from, they came and took over your system and you allowed it. We can blame the system because the system was built around our deprivation, our oppression. And then you guys come to America in order to literally, quite literally, take advantage of every system barrier that we broke down. That's why you don't have to sit here and worry about the system, because the system never targeted you. If anything, the system discriminated against you by saying, oh, we don't want y'all coming here. We're going to keep this majority white. And we cracked that door wide open and said, hell no, if you're going to have people coming into this country, you're going to have some folks that look like me coming in this country too. Y'all not just about to have all of these Europeans coming into the country. That was us, baby. If you worked so hard, you would have worked hard back in your home country, building that up and fighting the oppressor like we're doing over here, like we consistently do over here. That's just not what you're doing whatsoever. Shout out to our brother DSB again for your super chat, and your donation. Blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contribution. She's right. We are not like them Africans. They are Hamites and we're Judah Africans. Are weak. Judah Africans are weak and love the white man. I don't know why the hell I was stumbling over that, but I absolutely agree with you. And I'm about to show you some of that love that they have for the oppressor. That's literally what it all boils down to, family. It literally all boils down to the love of the oppressor. We fight white supremacy and they worship white supremacy. They love white supremacy. They're not trying to get from up under it. They want to be in a comfortable space with white supremacy. They want to, marry white supremacy and make them Africans again. Ken Tumbo, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Boo Boom. Magoofy. Magoofy's in the building, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they want their white supremacists to be. Their grooms and their brides. Shout out to Cooking with Miss D. Thank you for being here, sister. I appreciate you. Who else we got? Black Rose. Thank you for being here, family. But this is what they want. Yeah, family, this is what they love, family. That's what they don't want to get rid of white supremacy. Shalom and salute to our sister Shamika Gray. Thank you for being here, family. And shalom and salute to our brother DSB for gifting out 10, 11 memberships. That's what they want, family. They don't want to get rid of white supremacy because they literally, quite literally worship it. They literally, quite literally worship it. Let's go here, family. I want to show you how they literally put white folk on a pedestal. And not just put them on a pedestal, but hell, carry their ass around too. Let's go here. Family, tell me, would any of you ever do this for any amount of money? I just want to know. Because clearly these guys ain't got no damn self-respect. They have no self-respect. And we're built off that self-respect. That's why I spoke about that Christ energy, that Krishna energy. We are the embodiment of rebellion, that Krishna energy. We ain't going to be running around here with this, doing none of this. Oh no, family, we ain't done yet because I gotta drive home this point. I have to drive home this point, family, because when we say they not like us, I mean that wholeheartedly. And we're not like them. And this should be addressed. We don't worship white folk. We fight white folk. We fight white supremacy. Let's go. In case y'all missed what he said, he told this king in the whatever, he's looking for a wife in his tribe. And they all just started laughing, hugging. He wants some chocolate. This is the very same thing they've been doing since they stepped their feet on the first African lands. Ever since they came about the Caucasus Mountains, ladies and gentlemen, that's what they've been doing, taking over lands and taking wives. That's not nothing new. But here he's telling this person to his face, hey, yeah, hey, I want one of your women. And look at the reaction. Family, they out here making friends. They made a friend, ladies and gentlemen. Salute to FBA on code. Thank you for being here, family. And salute and shalom to FBA Aisha. Thank you for being here, family. They out here, they loving him. And he's loving them because what are they doing? They're worshiping the ground this man walk on. Now I can give you example after example after example after example. Y'all seen that video of the Africans bowing and literally praising the feet of white folk? But if I do that, we'll be here all day. So let's move on into the point I want to make. I wanted to hammer this home because, like I said, we fight white supremacy and they kiss the feet of it. So when these people from outside of the country who worship white supremacy and practice the praise of white supremacy, when they come and they come into America to meet the foundational Black American, they think that we're just running amok. They think that we just don't comply. We don't respect the law. They think that they have the right to come out and tell us, the people who fought for every privilege afforded to any Black person in this country, they think they can come out and tell us how to raise our children, as if we didn't come up doing Jim Crow, as if we didn't make it through slavery, as if we didn't make it through the Black codes, as if we didn't put them where they are today. And we get these people because they're from outside of this country, where all of them, and at this point, I'm saying all of them, love them some Sky Daddy White Jesus. Shalom and salute to our sister Aquarius Minded. Thank you for being here. Oh yeah, they love them some white Jesus. So in turn, They love them some white supremacists. Because you can't love white Jesus without turning around and loving the person that is being depicted in that white Jesus photo. Hence the white man. Hence the white woman. Hence white children. They love them so much. But let's go here because we're getting a whole outpour of these type of bootleg preacher, tether preachers, to be exact. Y'all heard of Pastor Philip Mitchell? The man who said, stop blaming white cops for the killing of black kids. So basically what he's saying is, don't blame them. You blame the black kids. You blame the black parents, but you don't go off and blame the white cop. No, 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 no. And that's why it's important to have that spirit of discernment. Because anybody who hears this idiot would know that he's an idiot. They wouldn't be promoting him if they're intelligent enough. If they have that spirit of discernment, they wouldn't promote what he's talking about because we know the history of this damn land. See, that's the thing about these tethers. They come to this land and then they skip over the history because they want to be in close proximity to the white supremacists. And I'm here to tell you, hell no, we are not going to let anybody forget about our history because we have a distinct history on this land. And you best believe we're going to remind each and every one of you idiots. Let's go here.
Stop blaming white cops for the killing of black kids. Instead, teach your black children to be obedient towards authority. And I don't care if most of y'all are black. You need to teach your children to obey authority. We need to teach our sons and daughters to obey authority. We need to teach our children to not fight against authority, not fight against cops, not rebel. Be model citizens. Stop being rebellious towards authority. Be submitted to laws and ordinances. Stop parking in handicapped spaces unless you want a reason to park there.
Family, this man is just out here saying any old damn thing. Family, how many of your damn kids are going out and just parking away in handicapped spaces? Ever since I was a kid, ever since I was a young boy, before I could even walk, before I could even talk, I knew about white supremacy and I knew how police will brutalize you. I'm from LA. And that Rodney King beating wasn't the only thing that turned up LA. The Watts riots was turned on, or it happened, due to the same type of situations. We have so many stories and so many examples of people following the law to the T and still getting unalived by a race soldier. But put a pin in that. We'll get back to it. Let's let this idiot finish.
Pay your taxes and stop cheating on your documents. I'm going to go deep. I'm about to get everybody mad. Stop bending your numbers. Watch. The Lord said, give back to Caesar what belongs to him. That is, be submitted to governmental authority.
I wonder if he would say that if someone was to ask him about, let's say, reparations. Oh, no. Don't back down now, because like you said, the Bible says give on to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and what's owed to Caesar, right? So you should be giving on to foundational Black Americans what belongs to foundational Black Americans and what's owed to foundational Black Americans, right? Or are you there just to, lift up your white supremacist and put your lips in between the middle of his butt cheeks? Just a question.
See, now watch. I see all of y'all looking at me. You know why you're looking at me like that? Because you don't read.
So now he calling Black Americans dumb. Guess what? You don't read. That's why you're looking at me like that. It's not because of the fact that, I'm saying some nonsense. It's not because of the fact that I'm up here spewing a bunch of anti-Black racism. It's not because, I'm not even from this country and I don't know the nuances of everything that happened in this country. So I'm just out here spewing a bunch of garbage. It's not because of any of that. No, it's because you're stupid and you can't read. This is what this tether is saying. But we know how to read well enough to read between the lines. You dirty tether. Let's go.
After Jesus is resurrected, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. When I was 15 years old, I'm walking up Hollis. I'm walking down Hollis in Queens. And an Italian cop drove right by me. And I locked eyes with the cop, and we stared at each other. He drove by. My ego and his ego. No cameras, no iPhones, no social media, no recordings. And then he says one word to me. Listen to what he says to me. This is what he says to me. He says to me, watch, say something. And in that moment,
family, this might sound mean as hell, but I wish he would have said something. I wish he would have said something. Is that mean? Is that terrible? Is that should I apologize for that? You know what? I'll do this instead.
Building, not my love. Oh, she's just a girl who can that I am the one. But the girl is not my son. But she said I am the one. But the girl is not my son. Bill Jeans, not my love. Oh, Bill Jeans.
Let's continue.
I hear the voice of my mom and my father. Son, obey authority. Son, respect your elders. Son, don't be in trouble out there with the police. Son, make sure you listen to people when they talk and I can hear them blah, 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 blah. No. And in that moment with that Glock pressed to my head, I got to make a decision. Either my ego is going to be strong or my submission to authority is going to be stronger than my ego. And if I have not been taught to obey authority, and because I'm not saved, I'm separated from God now for all eternity by a cop's bullet. Why? Because my ego was stronger than my submission. I don't care.
All right, family. Yeah, that was a bunch of nonsense. And let me tell you why it's a bunch of nonsense. Because anybody who has a gun pointed to their head, they're going to choose life over, popping off, showing their ego. That's just anybody. That doesn't make you stronger. What makes you stronger is now going back and fighting against that same person who put that pum to the back of your head. Not backing down, making sure you let everybody know, hey, this dude over here put a pum to the back of my head. It doesn't make you stronger that you didn't say nothing. It makes you weaker that you're over here now uplifting white supremacy and now trying to make it seem like it is an honorable situation to be a weak nigga. Excuse my French. That's what I got out of it. But let's go here. I'm not surprised and nobody's surprised because This is his reasoning why he ain't got that spirit that we got, that spirit of Majora. Salute to I am Kiara, excuse me. Thank you for being here, sister. This is why he ain't got our spirit.
So I'm from Queens, New York. My parents are actually from Trinidad. So I was the first person in my family born in the United States.
Y'all was eating bacon shark.
Yeah, all that.
Praise God.
I have all that, right? So I'm from Queens, New York. My parents are actually from Trinidad. So I was the first person in my family born in the United States.
So Trinidad James over here thought he could just move to America and then tell Americans about our story and how we need to train the kids in the way he was trained as an immigrant, as somebody who never been in a real fight in his life when it comes to our people. Yeah. See, this is why the spirit of discernment is very necessary. See, a while ago, people wasn't looking into the backgrounds of these folks. And so you would just think it's some self-hating black Negro who just is omitting the history of everything we've been through. And then we started looking into the background of these folks and coming to find out he is a fleeing preacher. He is a fleecher, ladies and gentlemen. He is a fleeing preacher. He's a first generational. Interesting. But I'm glad our family got the spirit of discernment, because we do have some family calling him out. Let's go here, family.
Regards to the Philip Anthony Mitchell controversy, and it kind of just shows a lot of people, they look at things completely black or white, so they don't understand nuance. But also it shows that people can understand what you're trying to say, but if you don't articulate it perfectly, they're going to choose to misunderstand the message. Overall, the theme was teaching people to respect authority. That is nothing wrong with that. That's biblically accurate. Now, the error in the example he provided was how he articulated it. It made it seem like it was a causality of disobedience that sometimes black men were being killed. And though there are some situations where it's because someone's not respecting authority, we have seen in real time that respecting authority and being obedient doesn't always lead to, saying peace. But sometimes, regardless, the cop will still kill an innocent black man. And because of how he, explained it, especially with the passion he spoke about it in, and he spoke about it in a cause and effect manner, it came off as out of touch, and it came out as it lacked tact, right? And so though the message in terms of respecting authority and people got put in positions of power, that is true. But when you're speaking about a situation that we have seen in real time, that even when someone is obedient, doesn't abide by that, it doesn't lead to them, surviving, then you come off out of touch. And you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, I can understand their, frustration, because, we're human. He can make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Even pastors can be
All right, family, we're going to move forward from this, because this is Skip Program Central for some damn reason. And hopefully these other ones don't do that.
I can think of on Pastor Anthony Mitchell or Thomas, whatever the dude name is, that pastor that I was talking about. Don't blame white police officers for killing young black boys, because we need to teach them, obedience and submission to whatever. And y'all forget that culturally, that man is Trinidadian. He's Trinidadian. His parents are Trinidadian. He's from the Bronx, New York. He's super dark skinned, and he had the nerve to say that. That lets me know he's disassociated himself from Black Americans, because trust and believe, he was not talking to white people. He wasn't talking to Spanish people. He was talking to Black Americans.
Well, my sister, this is where you go wrong. Who's to say he's ever been associated with us to begin with? That's what I'm saying. That was why the beginning of this broadcast was so important. And that's why I wanted to show they worship white supremacy, especially in places where they come from, where he comes from, where Africans over there come from. They worship white supremacy. So when they get over here, they try to bring that worship with them. So that entails, in turns, make them want to go against us because we don't worship white supremacy over here on this side. We fight white supremacy over here on this side. We call out white supremacy over here on this side. But on their side, that's why they're like, y'all talk about white supremacy too much. You blame the white man too much. This is all of your, if you guys get out there and go get you a job, it will be good. You will be okay. You don't work hard. I work hard. So no, it isn't the fact that he disconnected himself. He wasn't connected to us in the first damn place. Let's let her continue.
And in case y'all didn't know, they still bleach their skin over there. So the self-hatred runs deep. They were colonized by the British, the French, and the Spanish. So to me, it's nothing more than a cultural thing deep ingrained into their mind. Because Africans will get up and tell you this, Caribbeans from all the islands, they'll tell you that they're raised to believe that Black Americans are, lazy, they're bad, they're criminals, they're all these bad, uneducated, all these terrible things, they're ghetto, they this and that. They'll tell you that they're raised to believe that. And I really think that that's where that slipped out. I can't fathom an actual Black American, foundational Black American that's family's been here for generations, all the way going back to way back, ever saying anything like that. The only people that be saying stuff like that are immigrants. And when they're Black, it's immigrants. And the crazy,
I got to pause on this one. Man, salute to our brother DSB, because god dang it, this right here takes the wind out of the sails of these tethers. And you're absolutely correct. If only the tethers would do research, they would see that we built America while they ran from Africa to leech off FBA. And you're absolutely correct. But instead of doing research, they believe white zaddy. They believe the colonizer and everything that they're told. That's why you can have them come over here and we're telling them we're indigenous to the land. Yes, some came over from Africa, but we've been here and we have proof and DNA that stem back to this land. And they'll be like, you are lying. The white man said you were brought from Africa and that's where you come from. Come back home. You're just denying your ancestor roots. So even if they did the research, my brother, I think that it would be all in white supremacist spaces, so they would get the same information anyway. Their research would be, with the Charlie Kirks, and their research would be with anybody who still claims Christopher Columbus discovered, quote unquote, I'm doing the finger quotes, you guys can't see it, quote unquote, America. But salute to you, brother. You're absolutely correct. Let's let her continue.
The craziest part to me is he's from the Bronx. He's from New York, where it's proven that they intentionally target Black and brown communities to over police them, arrest, meet a quota. I mean, this has been proven. There's facts behind this. And I'm 100% sure he's seen it time and time again if he hasn't been subject to it. But somehow he's been able to, in his mind, disassociate himself from that. Now, was he being bad in his young? Sure. But I'm 100% sure he's seen the way that Black Americans are treated unfairly. And I mean, come on. Let's be real here. So to me, that was just a cultural slip up, and hopefully he learns from this and realizes that, baby, you over here in America, they look at you just as the same as they look at us. You're black. Okay. And they don't like you.
Earth is ghetto. Thank you for your comment. Let me address that. Because I want you to understand what the Church of Black Power is. Okay. This is church. Let me be very clear with you. You might not think it's church, but it is church, because even your Bible says what? When 2 or 3 are gathered, the Spirit of Christ is there, right? And since the Spirit of Christ has always been a spirit of rebellion, has always been a spirit of calling folks out, you can't tell me that this isn't a church. You just cannot conceptualize what the church is actually speaking on. So, earth is evil. You say this is evil. Okay. Tell me, earth is ghetto. What color was Christ? What color is Christ? I just want you to answer that question. I'm a Satan worshiper. Okay. Like I said, what color is Christ? Because if calling these people out is evil, then the Bible is evil. Oh, yeah. Because the Bible in itself speaks about many of the false prophets and calling them out. Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets who come to you in in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. Matthew 7:23, I believe. Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoer. Do you love white people? No. I love people who love me. But I'm also not going to lie to uplift a bunch of people who historically have lied to hide the fact that everything on this planet of greatness has been black. Jesus said, love your enemy. And God told, who was it? Abraham, I believe, to go unalive every man, woman, and child of the people who stole Lot and his wife. And then he said, pillage their goods and take it back to your land. You're not really a real Christian, are you? Oh, no, I don't preach hate. I preach common damn sense. And y'all use this religion. See, that's the thing about white people that y'all don't think we know. You're not Christians. You're not Jews. You're not whatever religion you claim to be. Your religion is white supremacy. That's why y'all can get on code so much for each other. Y'all can get on code when you see clear evil happening to foundational Black Americans. Y'all get right on code for each other. So don't talk to me about God. Don't talk to me about loving everybody when you don't love everybody. Now, let me get back to some of those false prophet quotes from the Bible. I believe Romans 16 through chapter 16, 17 through 18. He says, I urge you, brothers and sisters, to watch for those who cause division and put obstacles in the way that are contrary to the teachings you have learned. Who's done that more than the white race? See, now you just make this racial. But if we want to have this conversation, we can definitely have this conversation. As a matter of fact, no more talking in the chat. No more talking in the chat. If you want to have this conversation, come on up here and have it personally. The StreamYard link is in the chat. Get on up here. Get on up here. If you got something to say it to my face. Let's do this like men. Let's do this like men. Be a man. If you're a man of God, stand on that. Study yourself to show yourself approved, right? Come on up here and talk to the church, because no matter what you think, I'm not really the church. The church is everyone gathered here. See, that would go over your head because, you know, you don't have any sense and you don't have the spirit of discernment. You couldn't just sit down and listen. You had to throw yourself into the mix. So if you want to really speak about God to me, come on up here. It's Sunday service. It's Sunday service. Hold on. Let me pull this down for a second. It is Sunday service. Hold on. Boom. It is Sunday service. Come on up. Let's have the conversation. Otherwise, shut the hell up and sit the hell down. Don't ask no more questions if you ain't going to come up here. You got 1 minute and then you're going to the block zone. And then I'm going to continue my sermon because I'm not going to let your spirit of distraction distract me from finishing what I was speaking on. So you have less than a minute now. You have 50 seconds to get up here. 50 seconds to get up here. Ain't no more talking. No more chatting. You have 40 seconds to get up here. Salute the Tater Man. Thank you for being here, family. Thomas Riggill. Thank you for being here, family. You have 25 seconds to get up here. Like I said, family, this is how we're going to handle all these white supremacists from this day forward. If you don't want to say this to me, to my face, if you don't want to get up here and have the conversation, you're going to the block zone. Shout out to Keisha, baby. Thank you for being here, my sister. Now, since he got me in the mood to talk a little bit more about the goddamn false prophets, Deuteronomy 18 and 20 through 22. Jeremiah 23 and 16. 1 John 4 and 1. Don't come up here trying to talk no Bible nonsense to me when you do not follow the Bible yourself. See, there's a difference between following scripture and following tradition. I don't follow tradition. And I follow, if you want to talk about scriptures, we're going to go scripture by scripture. We're going to go script by script. You're not going to come in here talking all this nonsense, thinking that you're not going to get the pushback that you deserve. Any of the moderators, if you see him back in the chat, put him in the block zone. Now, let's go back to what our sister was saying.
Period. So you could do everything right and still not, come out perfectly fine. So that to me, y'all, remember that. There's a difference between Black foundational Americans, Africans, and or immigrants of all Black immigrants and Black foundational Americans. We're different.
Yeah, salute DSB, because that's why I didn't even answer the question, because the guy is a fool. The guy is a fool. All while Kamala Harris was out there running around here campaigning, and they was doing pop-up tents of abortion clinics from Planned Parenthood. We were the one calling them out. That was us. While this dude is running around here like an idiot, instead of closing his mouth and listening, he had to go ahead and make it seem like I'm a racist, I'm a devil worshiper, I'm against God. No, family. No, I'm not. What I am is a person that speaks the truth with the spirit of the Most High that dwells within me. And that's why I can speak with such conviction. Because I'm not worried about people such as that idiot. I can't even remember his name no more. That's how unimportant he was. And that's how much the Most High rock with me. He just right off that back, removed that damn name right from my head. That Scully cap is gone. But anyway, shout out to Berners Brass. Thank you for being here, family. I appreciate you. Let's let her continue because she almost finished here.
We're not the same people. They've fed you the narrative that we all the same. No, we're not. Just because we have melanin in our skin don't mean. I'm a Black American, and guess what? We look just like Fijians. Fijians look just like us. They have their little afro and everything. So, yeah. You know, at the end of the day, he's a human being. So let's forgive him and move on. It's not that big of a deal. I'm seeing every single think piece I can think of on Pastor Anthony Mitchell.
All right, family, let's go here because I do want to. Absolutely. He was in here not only asking dumb, he was here to cause distraction. That's what that is. Anytime we're talking about situations that pertain to us, you get some troll jumping up in here trying to make it about them. I know I was talking about white supremacy, but I didn't call no white person's name all day today, did I? Y'all remember that that one I can't remember where it was from, but it's a movie line. It's that I ain't called your name all day. And that's exactly what it is. We live rent-free in these busters' brains. That's what it is. That's his name. Okay, thank you very much, Miss Nisi. Told you, you don't come up here and speak, then you're going to be blocked. That's just what it is. Exactly. Forgive who? I save that forgiveness for God. God forgives. He told me an eye for an eye. I'm just saying. But let's continue. Let's go here, family. Because a lot of these folks are acting like they're in a cult, trying to stand up and support this Pastor Philip Mitchell. Let's go.
Boy, you in a cult. I used to be you. I was the member of the person who followed the preacher, and I was loyal to a fault. So much so that the church gave me a Mercedes-Benz truck, an ML 430, I believe. And when the church gave me a truck on New Year's Eve, my mama was in the service, and everybody was happy, but my mama wasn't. When I went home the next day to show my mama my car, the first thing she said to me was, nobody gives you anything for free. From the day I had that truck until the day I got rid of it, it felt like I was an errand boy for the pastor, his wife, and their kids. And some of them follow me on here today. You can be in a cult and don't know it. Cults are not always Jim Jonesy. Well, I mean, Jim Jones started out preaching like your pastor, like this man, and we know the history of what happened with that. How can a black preacher preach to black people about anything and they follow white supremacists? He's a fucking con artist. That's just the way it is. Also, he's implying that black people don't know how to raise their kids. That's what he's doing. He's saying that black people.
Yes, Miss Nisi, I have to wait until I actually get up off of the live to make mods, but I will be making mods out of many of our family up in here today. I will be going back after this live is over, and I'll be making many of you mods. So when you next time you come in and you see that that wretch, you'll have all power like Miss Nisi here to make sure we don't have any of the issues with these people who try to distract us from the message. But thank you for saying that, Miss Nisi.
Teach your children to be obedient. Teach your children to comply, the whole 9 yards. And I'm gonna just be honest with you. I'm sure his wife is miserable. I don't know the lady, but I know if her husband's saying stupid shit in the pulpit, imagine what he's saying at home. His pastor allegedly is Rob Parsley, a Trumper. These white men, white evangelicals who really want to be modern day KK. Well, they want to lead black people into the promised land, but that ain't what they're trying to lead y'all Negroes into. Rob Parsley now. Whenever my grandparents would come home to visit me, they would drop me off at the church, or they would drive me to church, and they would say to me when I get out the car, Darian, remember, that's just the man. And I used to be like, what are you talking about? Once the church blacklisted me when I quit the church and tried to go find a job, and they told everybody in the city not to hire me, then I knew then my grandmother and grandfather were right. He's just the man who already making fucking mistakes. My boy, you in a cult.
Family. His pastor's a Trumper. Didn't I say they love white supremacy? I said they love white supremacy. And so they tried to put that off onto us. Salute to our sister Mia Kim. Thank you for being here. And also salute to our sister Taste and Tease with Tony. Thank you for being here, family. That's what they do. But let's go here, family. Let's go here. Salute and shalom to our sister Lemonade. I appreciate you for being here, family. Let's go here. They talk about all this nonsense as if we don't have this instance here or several other instances that we can bring up.
To turn deadly, and today
let's roll that
it took
back.
just seconds for a routine traffic stop to turn deadly. And today, graphic video of the encounter was made public just a few days after a Minnesota police officer was found not guilty of manslaughter. Mireya Villarreal reports.
The newly released dash video shows the moment when Officer Geronimo Yanez stopped Philando Castile for a broken taillight last July, first asking Castile for his license and registration.
I have to tell you, I do have a firearm on me. Don't reach for it then. Don't pull it out. Don't pull it out.
Within 90 seconds of making the stop, the 29-year-old officer fired 7 shots. Castile's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, was in the passenger seat. She streamed the immediate aftermath on Facebook Live.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please.
Y'all saw, did y'all see how scared the man sounded after he let off the bullets? Family, I'm gonna tell you what I learned when I moved out here to Texas and I got my gun permit, my carrying permit. The person who taught the class that gave us the license to carry, we got a license to carry in Texas and in Florida. And one of the things that he said was, what do you do? He asked the class, he said, what do you do when you have to discharge your weapon on someone? And I said, I would say, I told you I would do it. You forced my hand. If I told him I would do it, right? And he said, wrong. He said, you said just like this. I feared for my life and I didn't know what to do. And that's exactly what this sounds like. It sounds like he's trembling so that he can say, well, I feared for my life. He was putting his hands on his gun. And I guarantee you that's the situation. But see, people like your Fleechers They're not going to tell you about that nuance. They're not going to sit there and talk about any of that when saying obey authority. When our brother Philando, was obeying what the authority told him to do. He told him to get his wallet, to get his ID. Philando clearly stated, I'm not reaching for anything. But these are the people that these folks love to come into the country and then try to put on a cape for. Let's go, PewTube. Let's do this. Let's do this. 1 second, family. 1 second. Let's reload that. There we go.
Dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are.
As Officer Yanez continued to point his weapon at Castile, you can see an officer coax and pick up Reynolds' then 4-year-old daughter, who was in the back seat during the shooting.
Get the baby out of here!
Yanez was quickly suspended from the St. Anthony, Minnesota Police Department and soon indicted for manslaughter. During the trial, Yanez said he feared for his life and thought Castile, a 32-year-old school cafeteria worker, was pulling out a gun he was licensed to carry. Friday, the jury acquitted Yanez of all charges. Valerie Castile is Philando's mother.
My firstborn one son died here in Minnesota. Under the circumstances, just because he was a police officer, that makes it okay. Oh, now they got free reign. He's found innocent on all counts.
Castile family members were reportedly stunned when they saw the video during the trial. And Anthony, according to their attorney, they are planning to file a lawsuit against the city as well as the police department here.
Maria, thanks.
Family, that's one of the major reasons why a lot of Black folk wasn't feeling Philip's message. There just wasn't. Especially because of the fact that we have instance after instance after instance after instance of people being obedient to the law and the law overstepping their power because they feel they can. That is one of the major reasons why foundational Black Americans have been calling for a foundational Black American anti-Black hate crime bill. Because of these people who literally take the badge that they have on and use it as a symbol of white supremacy. Like it's always been used. The police came from the slave catchers, the slave patrol. So whenever they put on that badge in the morning, in their heads, they're going to patrol the slaves. And those slaves better not get out of hand, or they're going to do what they want to do, not what they have to. That's what the facts are, family. Let's go here.
Don't mind me, I'm recovering from COVID, but I just saw that whole Philip Anthony Mitchell ordeal, and I just gotta say, oh brother, this guy stinks. Because complying with the police doesn't mean we're gonna make it. Doesn't mean we're gonna live. Hands up, don't shoot. Did we forget? Philando Castile, did we forget? Come on now, did we forget about these instances? I'm confused here. Now, don't get me wrong. Teaching your children to listen to or obey authority, I can get behind that. But to tie that statement and sentiment into don't blame white cops for killing unarmed Black people, is this pulpit rage bait? Are you engagement farming from the pulpit? Are you unwell? Don't mind me, I'm recovering from COVID, but I just saw that whole Philip.
Family, anybody with a sensible brain, a working brain, anybody with sense would have called him out. Now, there are a lot of people that don't have no sense, though. They don't have the good sense God gave them. The so-called God that they believe in and worship and praise, he gave you sense. And people choose just not to use that sense and then get mad at us because we use the good sense that God gave us. And it's funny to me. It's so funny to me that these people think that they have a moral up on us when we the only moral compass America has ever had. Tell me I'm lying. We're the only moral compass America has ever had. Hell, we're the moral compass of the world, apparently. So I want to get into this segment here. And I like to call this segment, Where's Your Family From? Let's go here. I want y'all to tell me if this woman is a foundational Black American, and if you don't think she is, name some places where you think her family may be from. Let's get it in.
Hey, friends. So I knew this Philip Anthony Mitchell situation was not going to last long because the truth of the matter is when it comes to Black people specifically, we do not like accountability and we do not like the truth. When somebody holds the mirror up to us and says, hey, you need to change, you need to do better, especially when it pertains to raising your kids, we don't want to hear it. The truth.
We? We.
Of the situation is that there are so many African Americans that do not teach their children how to obey and how to respect authority. That is how come we see the fruits of our behavior in our community. That is why we are the highest number of people that are in the prison system. That is how come we have a very high unemployment rate. That is how come our behaviors as it pertains to in African American communities, there's gun violence. There's a whole lot of things that go on in our community because of the fact that our children are not raised up in a way to respect authority. Our children are raised up to be idolatrous. They're raised up to be disrespectful. Y'all put them in a bathroom on this app and let them cuss and say anything that they want to say because that's considered to be funny. And I don't see nothing about it funny. How about y'all start doing challenges where y'all teach y'all children Bible verses or teaching them how to pray or teaching them how to worship? That is how they can level up and be who it is that God has ordained them to be. But instead, y'all teach them to disrespect authority because that makes y'all feel better because y'all get a kiki, y'all get a laugh out of it. But that shows up so prevalently, even in the school system. If any of y'all know school teachers, they will tell y'all that they have a very hard time with these children because these children, they cuss at them, they throw stuff at them, they fight them, they do all these things. And I personally believe that this is attributed to the fact that they took prayer out of school. They took discipline out of school. And the fact of the matter is a lot of these parents come up to the school and stand behind their kids and also want to jump on the teachers, also talk to the teachers crazy, which tells me a whole lot about the way our children are being parented. Y'all don't like what Philip Anthony Mitchell said because it doesn't rub y'all narcissism. And that's just the truth. But yes, we as African Americans specifically need to do better in our community as it pertains to the nucleus, our family structure, and do better in raising our kids to know the word of God. You train up a child in the way they should go. Yes, they may do different things in life, but guess what? They'll come right back around to it. So y'all have a good day. Hey, friends. So I knew this Philip Anthony.
All right, family. I'm seeing the chats. I'm seeing the chats. You know, I've seen Nigerian. I've seen Haitian. I saw that the forehead was a little too big to be FBA. You know, someone said that her forehead started by her ears, and I am so amused. Okay, family, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure this out. Let's go here.
Okay, now see, this is what pisses me off with y'all. Y'all blame everything on white supremacy. Yes, the white man is real. Yes, there are a lot of things that in our laws that are not fair as it pertains to the things that us as African Americans have dealt with globally, not just here in America.
Salute to our family. AO, thank you for being here, family. She started off with the white supremacy. Yes, white supremacy exists, but y'all blame white supremacy too much. Does that sound like a foundational Black American to you? When I say these people love white zaddy, when I say these people love white Jesus, Sky Daddy, they show you in the manner in which they speak. Salute the image imagine. Thank you for being here, family. I want to run that back. Oh, what happened here? Hold up.
Okay, now see, this is what pisses me off with y'all. Y'all blame everything on white supremacy. Yes, the white man is real. Yes, there are a lot of things that in our laws that are not fair as it pertains to the things that us as African Americans have dealt with globally, not just here in America. Globally, Africans have not been treated fairly. But you want to know why we as a people have not been treated fairly, especially with us being literally the most talented people, I would say, in the land. You want to know why we are treated so unfairly? We are treated so unfairly because we treat ourselves unfairly. We don't respect ourselves. We don't respect authority. But then
We? We.
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning, Admiral?
then you want to look around at all these other cultures of people, and then you want them to pour into your bosom and to respect you. It does not work that way. You have to create your own table. People have to see you respect yourselves and hold yourself up to a certain standard. And then they will look at you and say, you know what? I can't come to this person and do this person any kind of way. I can't cheat them out of money because they got sense. But you want to know why people look at us and say we don't have sense? Because we don't act like we got no sense at all. We glorify stupid stuff. God has literally anointed us as a people with.
Salute to our brother AL. Thank you for your support, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution, family. Family. Does that sound FBA to you or me?
We? We.
We're not done yet. I'm not going to play that full thing because that right there probably pisses everybody off even more. I want to drive home this point, though. That's definitely what I do want to do. Let's go here.
My question is this, listen, why is it that y'all always want to take away from somebody's experiences? You yourself, you worship your ancestors. Don't ask me how I know. So with you worshiping your ancestors and your ancestors not being here from America, what does that make you? Does that mean that you should not be commenting on this topic, being that you are here in America? Philip Anthony Mitchell grew up here in America, in New York City. He also went to prison and did time in Rikers Island. Yes, he did. So with him doing time in Rikers, not a full-blown prison sentence, but he did time there. My thing is, does that take away from his experiences as an African? No.
Family. She literally just said because the man was born here and he went to Rikers Island, went to jail. That puts him in the same boat with foundational Black Americans. This is the nonsense that they're out here spreading. If you was born here and you went to jail, then you have the experiences of foundational Black Americans. This is the nonsense.
No, yeah, I don't know. What you're saying does not make any sense. And as it pertains to the true and living God that we serve, you are commenting on Christian content. You are talking about Philip Anthony Mitchell. Philip Anthony Mitchell is not a false teacher. But one thing about it, and one thing I knew for sure, is that I knew the world was not going to like him for long because he speaks too much of the truth. And you're not going to like that because it causes you to change your ways. It's going to cause you to renew your mind.
He speaks too much of whose truth? Not our truth. So if he's not speaking our truth, by definition, whose truth would he be speaking? The white supremacists, right? It can't be anything else. It's one or the other. Either you're speaking the truth to the people who's been oppressed in this land for all these centuries, or you're speaking the truth of the white supremacists. Which one? Pick one. That's what she's saying right now. We have already went through the situation where we found out that his pastor is a Trump supporter, a white guy. But yet she want to say he speaks too much truth. I knew people wouldn't like him for too long because, you know, he's on point every time he goes to the podium. But when the moral compass of America is sitting here saying, no, that's not truth at all, then that must mean, in contrast, whose truth is he speaking if not ours? Let's be very clear about that. Yes, exactly. Truth my asthma. It's ridiculous.
He stands on the word of God and what the word of God teaches. So if anybody is telling a lie, it would be you, because you're not basing anything off of anything. He is basing what he is saying off of the Bible.
Family, let's read this comment, because she said if anyone's telling a lie, it would be you. And she's speaking about the person who left the comment. So let's read the comment. He's Trinidadian. Where's the lie in that? His family is Trinidadian. Where's the lie in that? They're not Americans. Where's the lie in that? But you go ahead and follow your false teachers. You go ahead and follow your false teachers. Where's the lie in that? And lead you to serve a false god. Where's the lie in that? Don't encourage others to do the same. Now, I just read through this dang comment that was left there, and I didn't see any falsehoods in anything that was said there. She is following a false teacher. He is leading her to a false god, which is white supremacy, the god of that they worship. And here she is saying he tells too many truths about Black people. Shout out to our sister Bertha. Thank you for being here, sister. They're trying to get you to follow their false god, which is white supremacy. Let's go here. Now, I think we can kind of pinpoint where she's from, where your family from. Let's kind of narrow it down. Let's go here.
It's always the food for me. It's always the food for me.
Oxtails, fried cabbage, rice and peas. I think we got a Caribbean on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Who put Caribbean in the chat? Give yourself a round of applause. Pat yourself on the back. Oxtails.
It's always the food for me.
Rice and peas. Not Jamaican. So we betting on Haiti. She Haitian. Is she eating the dogs and eating the cats, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all let me know in the chat. Is she eating the dogs, eating the cats? Fried cabbage. Yeah, it didn't look like fried cabbage, but that's what I'm guessing. Yeah, absolutely. So, family, let's move on now that we know where she is from. And shout out to me and Kim, Trickster Trini Tether. Yes, Trinidaddy. She's Trinidaddy too. I can see that. That's why she's coming out so hard for her homeboy, Reverend Phillips, the Fleacher. Let's go here, family.
Let me explain why everybody mad at Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell about the whole black person, white cop situation. And this is just my assessment. I feel like what was revealed and uncovered is that the black community idolizes and prioritizes their skin color over everything and over all.
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Nigga, please.
We prioritize our skin color over all. No, fella. We prioritize our right to live over all. We prioritize the fact that we are the people who built this country, and we still fight the same oppressor because of people such as yourself every single day. We idolize our skin color. Very interesting, because we're not around here talking about all black people are black people like your Pan-Africans. We're actually saying the quite opposite. We're saying we're a distinct group of black people. And we honor the legacy and the lineage that's been passed down to us through our blood. That majority spirit that's been put into us. That spirit of rebellion. The spirit of calling them out. The spirit of standing on our square for our people. What do you guys have? Interesting.
And that is idolatry. That is a sin. And I think people get idolatry confused because they think just because you ain't worshiping other gods and worshiping the devil and all of that, then it's not idolatry. But that's false. Anything that is priority and prioritizes over what the rule book, which is the Bible, what that says, that's idolatry. You can idolize money. You can idolize your skin color. The Bible literally says, love thy neighbor as thyself. Treat all with respect. Not love thy black neighbor as thyself. So
Salute to our family, Vince Singleton. Thank you for being here, family. This dude here, when the Bible was written, Nabiscos didn't exist, according to a lot of scholars. They haven't even crept themselves out of the Caucasus Mountains yet. During the Ice Age, everyone else around the planet, namely the Africans and, the foundational Black American, the indigenous people of this land, was living and eating good. All of a sudden, the Bible says, love everybody of all races. The Bible never said that. Especially when the Most High said, for Jacob I love, and Esau I hate. They keep taking that away from the Bible. They're not even mentioning that. How can the Bible tell you to love everybody when God clearly says he don't love everybody? How do you try to tell me and convince me that I need to love everybody when nature don't love everybody? Everything in nature is working against these people. Where's the lie? Everything in nature is working against these people. They can't even have babies without going to the doctor to get a certain type of shot because a baby could kill them. Let's be honest. And this is why I can't stand these people who worship white supremacy. What he's saying, all he's saying right here is blah, blah, blah. I worship white supremacy. Blah, blah, blah. Sky Daddy is who I worship. When even Christ said, don't worship me, worship he who sent me. What happened to that? What happened to that? Because many people are just running around here worshiping Christ when Christ even said it himself, don't worship me, worship he who sent me. See, a lot of people don't actually read the scripture. A lot of people just go off of tradition because a lot of pastors don't teach scripture. A lot of pastors teach tradition. Well, in the Church of Black Power, we don't do tradition. If we're going to talk about the Bible, guess what? We're going to crack that open. We're going to speak about what's in the Bible. We're not going to speak about some nonsense that some dude that ain't even from this country is trying to now take the Bible and use it as a weapon against us. We already went through slavery. We've already had the Christian Bible used against us several times over. And then our brother Nat Turner said, hell no, I'm not about to allow this. There's a lot of, oh no, this Bible says vengeance. Oh yes, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. It's time to get my freedom. God ain't never been a God of just docileness. And another thing that these preachers love to do that I say, no, we don't do that here. They love to try to take away the vengeance of God by saying, well, when Christ came, he washed away all the old laws and sins. So we don't have to do what's in the 10 Commandments or the Bible and Leviticus and all this other stuff. Salute the non-guy, you ain't it. Thank you for being here, family. And that ain't the truth. Christ ain't never said anywhere in the Bible that me coming nullifies my Father's word. As a matter of fact, that's the quite opposite when they asked him, what laws would you have us keep? And he says, you keep the laws of my Father. He didn't say, I say X, Y, and Z. So anybody running around here talking about Christ is white, Christ is black, none of that even matters because the real glory is even supposed to go to Christ. And y'all missed that part. Right. When you tell, yeah, see, Christ is the one that came to tell people to turn the other cheek. That's what he did. But then when they asked him what laws to keep, he said, you keep my Father's law. And the Father's law says an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And like I said, I'm with the whole situation that he told Abraham to go do when they took Lot as hostage. That's vengeance. See, they would have you believe that God is just this loving God of all people. And God said himself, no, that's not me. That's not me at all. But you only want to read the New Testament. You want to live in the New Testament. You want to only give validation to the New Testament. And no, even in the New Testament, you have revelations. Let's move forward, family. Let's move forward. I tell you, these people really don't want to have these conversations because you can shatter beliefs. That's why the Bible says you don't tell a man that he's God lest he turns his face from you and make you his devil. Even though in Psalms 82 verse 6 says what? Ye are gods, all of ye, children of the Most High, but you shall die like men and fall like the princes. See, people don't want to have these conversations. They want to live in la la land. And these tether preachers allow them to do that. Let's go here, family.
A lot of y'all have a weird obsession with 2819 and Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell. Now, this is coming from someone who goes to his church. He is my pastor.
Wait a second, family. When I first seen this video, I had an eerie feeling like the way he started that off reminded me of someone else's video. It did. It reminded me of someone else's video. So we're gonna go back here. We're gonna go back here in a second. We're gonna go here real quick. Let's go here. It reminded me of a video I did.
I find it weird whenever someone brings up Tariq Nasheed and no one brought him up in the conversation. This weird obsession with Tariq Nasheed is a feminine trait. I'm sitting here talking about foundational Black Americans, aka American freedom, but y'all keep taking it back to Tariq Nasheed. Having such an envy or hatred for another grown man is weird as hell to me. So I hit your page and what is it? Nigeria, my ancestral homeland. Now it makes sense why you keep on harboring on this talking point of xenophobia. Notice these people never address the folks that we're addressing. They immediately go to us as if we're xenophobic.
Now, family, I was addressing somebody who came into my comments, but the fact that this man said it's really weird because we're calling out a liar and manipulator. They wasn't saying things like that was weird. And yes, he is somebody who's been in the circles that I've been in. So I know for a fact he's seen my video when I was saying that is so weird. It's a feminine trait when you're sitting here worrying about another man and we're talking about something totally different. Now he takes what I said and what I meant and made it basically weird that people are calling out this pastor for the nonsense in which he was stating.
A lot of y'all have a weird obsession with 2819 and Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell. Now, this is coming from someone who goes to his church. He is my pastor. But watching a lot of y'all y'all have this weird obsession with him. It's weird. What he said was out of line and out of pocket, and I can only assume he's going to address it. But your weird obsession with him is really, really looking to start to look like idolatry. And again, I go to his church. I go to 2819, and Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell is my pastor.
Family, the whole background music. I think that he did pick the perfect background song for this too, because he seems like he's lost. Seems like he's in the quiet place, don't he? Falling down the little hole while she's tapping her teacup. It's he's hat fishing. I love that. Oh yeah, I guarantee you his headline starts right behind his ears too. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. That's projection. Absolutely. That's absolutely, y'all. They have a very weird obsession with Tariq. Absolutely. But as we call out their people, they're trying to use what we're saying against them back against us. That's crazy. Salute DJ Black 909. Thank you for being here, family.
I don't have that type of obsession. He's on point when it comes to the scripture, but he was out of line with what he said. And that's fine. No pastor is going to always hit the mark. They're going to say things that you disagree with. Nobody is trying to cancel him. Nobody is trying to cancel him. But the way y'all are is weird. It is weird, and it's getting scary. A lot of y'all have a weird obsession.
Notice how he tried to throw weird in there several times like I did. I just laugh at these kind of people because you can't come out saying that you want to be like us, but you go out and you act like us. You pretend to be us. Is that right, Damien? No such thing as white supremacy? Okay. I'll tell you what. Why don't you come up here and have that conversation with me? You got exactly 1 minute to hit that link and get up here. Until then, you on timeout. Let's be very, very clear. This isn't up for debate. This isn't up for debate. We know what the hell is going on. You know why? Because you white supremacists said so yourself. Everything within history shows that white supremacists has been doing everything oppressive in order to maintain the system of white supremacy. All right, bet, Miss Nisi. Let's move on to this next clip here because Pastor Phillips, he knew what the hell he was doing. He knew what the hell he was doing, and people are calling him out for what the hell he's doing because we know for certain that this was a timed situation. He didn't just choose to start talking like that. He waited until the situation with Carmelo came up to then say, oh, black kids need to learn how to submit to authority. Let's go here.
Anthony. Philip Anthony Mitchell knew what he was doing by bringing up the example of respect and authority. Although he didn't state Carmelo's name or any of those things, it is so dangerous to say those things because the church is supposed to be a place of resistance. The church is supposed to be a place of revolution. The church is supposed to be a place of education, exploring new ideas. And now it has turned into a money grab. It has turned it into a place of using this same information, this same logic to then destroy or to protect white supremacy, to coddle white supremacy, and to create black minds, to regenerate black minds that are coalescing with white supremacy every single day. It is a training ground for that. And if you think that this is too far-fetched with Minister Nuri Muhammad, we just played this interview that we had just posted. He broke down how in the black church during slavery times, the overseer would sit in the church to make sure that no sermons, no teachings that reflected revolution, resistance were shared with the congregation, because then it could spark their minds. Certain verses they were not able to read. They even had a slave Bible. Now, I say all that to say, could we then argue that today that our pastors, not all, we still have some amazing black pastors, many, but a select few that have major platforms, such as Philip Anthony Mitchell, we're using a slave Bible logic. And what I mean by that is, I've been seeing a lot of faulty teachings from him throughout the previous months. One breath, Jesus wasn't black, but we can clearly pull it up in the Bible where he is. We can just go off of historical context of where Jesus was located, right? Israel is Northeast Africa. Israel is on the Northeast African tectonic plate. The Israelites spent a lot of time in Egypt. Even Jesus and Mary, Joseph, they went to Egypt for the first years of his life. If they were white or if he was a Palestinian Jew, he would not fit in Israel. or in Egypt rather, because they were black. They were Africans and they were black, which is sad that we even have to state both, but they were black. These were black people. Homer himself said that the Egyptians were black in the land of burnt faces and kinky hair. He said that the real knowledge came from Egypt. So if we have these fathers of this and fathers of that historically referencing that these were black people, Jesus himself was black. But I say all that to say that as a black pastor, to even avoid that or to say that he wasn't black when you have scripture after scripture and every other person throughout the Bible to use as points, that's problematic. And see, I always ask black people this because, you know, when people say, oh, this is my pastor, woo, but he's hip, he's on it, he's revolutionary. My first question is, have you asked him what color was Jesus? And even further, is Jesus black? I always ask that, and it's always an awkward silence. And I said, that lets me know if he's truly revolutionary or not. If you're still afraid and tiptoeing around Jesus being black, you're not for a black revolution. There's no way that you know that that's in the Bible. You know.
Family, that's exactly what this whole broadcast is about. You're not for black revolution if you're not preaching black revolution. Period, point in black. There is nothing else to say. Don't use the Bible as a tool of docileness and think that we're going to follow you when we're over here literally, quite literally, preaching the doctrine of revolution. When we're preaching the doctrine of the spirit of calling folks out. The spirit of saying, hell no, we ain't those people. You got us messed up.
Know that this person's in the Bible. We can keep going from person to person, list to list. You know that Egypt is black. But then you won't say Jesus is black. Why? Because it makes white people uncomfortable. But then if we presume that Jesus was white, you wouldn't fight that. This is this craziness that I'm talking about. You can't talk about that you're for freeing our people, but then you won't even say that God looks like you when you know it's true, because you know that's truly liberating. But I need you in this comfortable way. Even when we think about the music that they play, how they act in the church, everything's just la, 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 la. But we aren't talking about real issues. We aren't talking about what's going on right now, because I can't do that because they have to protect their interests, which is the almighty dollar. And to come and to say to respect authority, all these other things, but then when it's Martin Luther King Day, Black History Month, y'all are the first ones in line. It doesn't make sense to me, because those same people you would not stand with if they were speaking those same messages right now. You would say that they're causing trouble, that they're causing problems. Ask Philip Anthony Mitchell, how do you feel about Malcolm X? Fannie Lou Hamer, how do you feel about her? Harriet Tubman, because Harriet Tubman, she didn't respect authority. And see, that's why I say sometimes there is some truth to the lineage debate, because he exposed that he's Trinidadian and that he's first gen. So you don't have that same sentiment to this land. So yeah, you might say, I want to respect authority because you're happy to be here. Our people bled and built this thing from the ground up. We're not just happy to be here. This is ours. So we're going to make it as comfortable as possible for our people, even through religion. That should be the main factor that we make our people comfortable through. That's the main thing that we should liberate our people through. In the same way how we have people joining the churches in mass, I see it. You have people leaving the churches in mass as well, which is what they don't talk about. Why? Because they are disillusioned by everything that they've seen. During a time like Carmelo Anthony.
Family, where was the lie? See, this brother's a pastor too. And I'd be more inclined to go sit in this brother's pews and listen to what he has to say. Now, I don't go to the churches in like that anymore because, you know, I understand that the church is me and I am the church. But at the same time, a lot of these churches speak a bunch of nonsense, and I'm not just going to sit there to be nice. But I would be inclined to go and sit at this brother's church and hear what he has to say. Because if he is one of those people who preaches the spirit of revolution, then yeah, we need those churches, because those churches used to be our institutions. We used to go and plan different things at our churches. The church used to be such a pillar stable in our community, and now it's not so much. Not so much. Salute to the big black God. Thank you for your cash app. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution, family. If we had more preachers like this, I guarantee you the churches wouldn't be as empty as they are today. They just wouldn't be. Because people would understand that their pastor is actually speaking towards them, what matters to them and what matters to their survival. But since we don't, and it's just another cash grab for a lot of these folks, you got a lot of nonsense going on in the church, especially over in Africa. That's why I started this broadcast with the clip that I started the broadcast with that African preacher telling a woman to take her panties off and then doing some unscrupulous things. That's why the spirit of discernment is very, very important. And if he's a pastor that teaches the spirit of discernment and not just the Christian sense of the spirit of discernment, but the spirit of discernment meaning making good choices, knowing how to evaluate and break down, pick apart whatever somebody's saying, and knowing whether or not it pertains to you and whether or not it don't, and whether or not it hurts you and whether or not it don't, whether they represent for you and whether or not they don't. Because when Phillips was in his church and people didn't agree with his message and he saw them walking out, oh, he start egging those people on. He start egging them on.
Yo, I don't got time to get into this, but I just want to tell you, you can't find a description for Christian in the Bible. It's not in there. It was a derogatory term that was given to us. We call ourselves now, but you can't find a description for a disciple.
You hear all the people in the church that do not have the spirit of discernment. Y'all hear them going wild. Because basically what he's saying is y'all need to shut up and listen to me. I know what a description of a disciple is, but I don't know what the description of...
Yo, I don't got time to get into this, but I just want to tell you, you can't find a description for Christian in the Bible. It's not in there. It was a derogatory term that was given to us. We call ourselves now, but you can't find a description for a disciple. Anybody in society could put Christian in their profile, but we checking for fruit. I said,
Nah, player, we're checking for paperwork. That's what we're doing. We're checking for paperwork. Exactly, Miss Nisi. That's not church. It's theatrical. A performative tether. Exactly. Exactly. So with all the backlash that the FBA was giving this dude, he found it necessary to actually issue an apology. How sweet, right? He says, I'm going to go ahead and throw out this apology. But he didn't do it live. And so another tether had to come out and read his apology for him.
Just released a statement on his Instagram page tagging 2819 about what he said during last week's Sunday service. I'll read the statement to you. In light of statements I made during our 8 a.m. gathering on Sunday, April 13th, I wanted to take a moment to pause and acknowledge the impact of what I said. While not my intention, I recognize I caused harm. For that, I sincerely apologize. I believe that the passage I preached on presents us with an opportunity to examine our relationship with governments and authoritative figures who we may personally oppose, yet have to comply with. Without a doubt, I understand the framing I used about Black children and their relationship with the police was and is harmful. I know that Black people have been unalived by the police when being both compliant and non-compliant. I sought to illustrate this tension from my own lived experience via a personal testimony. I acknowledge that my framing of the encounter was not helpful and should have been done differently with
Not Showtime at the Tetheralo. No. And you know, they like to use Y's for the double L, so it'd be Tetheralo. 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 Oh man, I'm sorry. All right, let's go.
more nuance. I would also like to note that the clips from my comments from that gathering have been misconstrued to both aid agendas I do not seek to align myself with and discredit my heart and my passion for seeing all people saved and walk uprightly before God. I have a responsibility to my local congregation, our digital disciples, and all the people watching me, expecting to see an example of what true discipleship of Christ looks like. This includes acknowledging when you have made a misstep or been wrong. Due to the size of my platform, I am learning that my words carry more weight and influence than I even sometimes can fathom or acknowledge. I will be more aware and cognizant of that moving forward. Again, I sincerely apologize for any hurt that I have caused. I have prayed for all those affected. Comment what you think below about his apology, and I'll do my best to comment back to each one of you.
So they have the Tether apology music in the background. Dun, 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 dun. Salute to AO. Trying to walk back his sermon is hilarious. Absolutely. The funny thing about that is that it was all of FBA out there getting on his ass. Excuse me, pause. And he was trying to fight it. He was trying to, stand his ground. I wonder if his paymasters came out and said, hey, we're going to need you to go out there and make an apology. Make it a formal apology. That's what I think. Because at first he was trying to stand on his square. People was telling him he was wrong, and he was just, trying his hardest to fight it. And then he went the way of Mav Hoffa, found out quick that when it comes to the karmatic effect, when it comes to foundational Black Americans, the universe moves expeditiously with no exceptions. Absolutely. But family, that's one tether. Oh yeah, that you thought we were done. No, we're not done. I told you we got some people to call out today. We got some people to call out today because he's not the only one. And these people may not be tethers, but all of them are saying some nonsense. Let's start off here. Shout out to our brother Black Alpha Network. Our brother Black Alpha posted this some time ago, and I would like to bring it forward. Give me 1 second. Let me bring up this screen here. Here's another tether. Oops, my bad, family. I didn't bring up the screen. Here's another tether.
It was a tragic loss that took place between Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony. Have y'all heard about that? Young man Carmelo Anthony did something that should never take place. Number one, you should not bring a knife to a track meet. Here's another thing. Only sit in areas that are designated for you to sit at. And when you are told to move, whether nicely or in what you might call an unkind tone, if you are in the wrong place, you should get your rear end up and go walk to another section.
Nigga, please.
Family, this man, and this is what I keep telling you, family, these people love white supremacy. This tether here is trying to say you need to be listening to these people, even though they're not even in any state of authority. You need to listen to these people because they're white.
Place between Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony. Have y'all heard about that? Young man Carmelo Anthony did something that should never take place. Number one, you should not bring a knife to a track meet. Here's another thing. Only sit in areas that are designated for you to sit at. And when you are told to move, whether nicely or in what you might call an unkind tone, if you are in the wrong place, you should get your rear end up and go walk to another section and sit there where you have been designated to sit. A tragic loss.
Family, they're trying to bring their love of white supremacy over into our churches and teach us and tell us to teach our children to listen to white supremacists, to love white supremacists. Massa, we sick as dude. Exactly. Absolutely. Steven from Django. Who is that nigga on the 9? I said, who is that nigga on the 9? That's the mindset these people have. And then they get mad at us because we don't share that mindset with them. We don't. And they get mad at us saying we're messing it up for them. Because they want to get their boot licking on. Salute to our brother Jesse Paris. Thank you for being here. Shalom to you, family. Oh, and thank you for Akibalon Nation. Thank you for your Cash App. Your donation is blessed tenfold. I appreciate your contribution, family. This is what they want us doing because it makes their job better. It makes their job easier if we just get on board and just start bootlicking like them, start puckering up and kissing between the white supremacist cheeks. We fight white supremacy and they praise it. Salute to our family, Dark Titan. Thank you for being here, family. And that's why I named this broadcast what I've named this broadcast today, because all of this, you haven't seen not one of them say anything that was on code. Everything that they're saying is to uplift, grandize the white supremacists. Let's go here, family. Let's go here. Let me pull this down real quick because I got something else here. I want to show you another brother. I'm going to show you another brother. I say brother very loosely. Very, very loosely. Let's go here.
And for 400 years, the white man has knocked us down. He did that to us. But if you stay down, that's not the white man's fault. Rise, take up your bed, and walk. Pull your pants up. Stop talking like an idiot. Go get a job. Be responsible. Because if the white man knocks you down, you're responsible for getting up.
Why every time a so-called pastor that's in the old nigga category, in the words of Jason Black, shout out to him, why do they always go to the same talking point? Pull your pants up. Get a job. It's always putting the blame on the young brothers rather than talking about how we can get these young brothers into a place where they can actually be brothers and young brothers. Give them ways to maneuver their life through white supremacy and become successful. Why is it always pull your pants up, get a job? Why not go and take them and teach them a trade so they can go and create jobs? Let's run that back one more time.
And for 400 years, the white man has knocked us down. He did that to us. But if you stay down, that's not the white man's fault. Rise, take up your bed, and walk. Pull your pants up. Stop talking like an idiot. Go get a job. Be responsible. Because if the white man knocks you down, you're responsible for getting up. And
I'm going to be 100% with you, AO. That's exactly who he sound like. Randy Watkins from Sexual Chocolate. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well, let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all inside of me. Sexual chocolate. Sexual chocolate. I apologize, family. Anytime I hear Randy Watkins, I go into that mode. One of my favorite movies in the world. Pass the offering player. That boy is good. That boy is good. But these are the type of people that we got behind the pulpit right now, family. These are the people. That boy good. We like to have a little fun on in the Church of Black Power. We love to have some fun up in here. And we love to pull out the pan, put the foil over, and get a little roast on from time to time. You know what I'm saying? Good and terrible. Black Spider, that mic drop. Boom. I'm going to put that in one of my clips. I'm going to make sure that that's a clip. Thank you for reminding me, Black Spider. Oh, yeah, family. Okay, let's get on to the next one because, like I said, we got a lot of ignorance, a lot of ignorant pastors going around here saying a lot of nonsense. Let's go here. This pastor here, he might be FBA, he might not be. But all I know is that what he's saying is complete, utter ignorance, and we're going to address it.
The Bible says without faith or complete, absolute confidence in the word of God and the God of the Bible, we cannot please him. Can we turn to something else? Then we're showing our lack of faith in him. If I've got Jesus, that's enough. I don't need reparation. The Bible says without faith or complete, absolute confidence in the word of God and the God of the Bible, we cannot please him. Can we turn to something else? Then we're showing our lack of faith in him. If I've got Jesus, that's enough. I don't need reparation. The Bible.
In case you didn't hear that last part where it cuts off, he says, I don't need reparations. Now, let me say this. Any pastor, I don't give a damn whether you're FBA or not. Any pastor who runs around here saying they don't need reparations has now made themselves an enemy of my people. Let me repeat that. Any pastor who has the audacity to let the words come out of his mouth that he don't need reparations and we don't need reparations, you are now an enemy of my people and a traitor. You're treasonist. And you've lost all in any respect, if there was any there. This is a new dawn, a new day. We are not the folks that y'all want us to be, which is the docile folks. We are not the folks that you want us to be, which is the folks that will run to the church and put their rent money and all their bill money into the collection plate. We're not the folks. And you're not just going to say any old thing. You're not, because we're calling you out for it. Anybody who's out here speaking against our justice claim is an unjust person, and you shouldn't be leading any flocks. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Anybody who goes against our justice claim is an unjust person and should not be leading any flocks. You should be leading yourself to a bedroom or to a chair and having a seat and let the real ones like myself, Brother Black Alpha, Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, Lisa Cabrera, let us do what we do. Let us get out here and do the work. Let Afro Elite go do the work. If you're not going to speak about the justice claim, we got many of people who's willing to speak about the justice claim because we have that spirit of justice in us. We have the spirit of rebellion in us. Y'all like to talk about putting on the full armor of God. FBAs walk out into this world every day with that armor on. So we're not giving any of you any leeway anymore. Anymore. We got so many people. Right, Miss Neezy, thank you. Brother Torian Reigns, Kid Gravity, Afro Elite, Black Alpha, Great Black Shark, Black Truth United. We got so many people who are willing to speak the hell up. So if you find yourself in a position listening to someone who's speaking against our justice claim, just know, Jesse Paris too, salute to you too, family, absolutely. Just know, we got people with that Majora spirit who's ready to go. Every time I ran up on Sheila Jackson Lee, it's because I had to run up on Sheila Jackson Lee. Because the spirit wouldn't let me just sit quiet while people spoke a bunch of nonsense when I was out there and she was going up against I forget the guy who's the mayor right now of Houston right now. But when she was going to, not Sylvester, that's the old guy. Anyway, when she was going up against for the mayoral run or whatnot, and they was having that debate, and I was sitting in the crowd, nobody was bringing up foundational Black Americans. Nobody was bringing up Black Houston. Nobody was bringing up who was going to do what for it. I had to stand up and scream at everyone in there. Who's going to fund Black Houston? That was that spirit within me, because I couldn't sit there and look idly by while these people are talking about doing for everyone else and putting funding in all these other places, but they didn't want to put it into the Black community in Houston. When they came to Texas Southern University, where they brought $50 million for an economic grant, I couldn't just sit idly by while they was sitting there presenting a big old check. I had to stand up and tell them, if y'all don't do something for foundational Black Americans, the Democrats will lose. Where's the money for reparations? And even after, when I was able to confront Sheila Jackson Lee on camera, and Representative Ron Reynolds on camera, I kept it 100. We are about tangibles. Y'all are out here talking about, when she said, as you sure will know. If you don't believe me, go back on my page and look it up. She was talking about, as you well know, we got to make sure people understand. Well, I said, no, y'all out here giving out funding, housing, clothing, walking around change to a bunch of people who are not citizens, and we're the only people who are owed that type of debt. When I talked to Ron Reynolds, he says, I'm for reparations, man, but this is a grant that has to do with the economy, and I think that is needed. Well, not the economy, excuse me. It was a freaking I'm spacing on the name of the dang grant, eco-friendly grant. It was brought to you by God dang it, the agency of the government that the environmental protection. That's what it was. It was for environmental protection, which is another trick bag. We're going to go over that in another broadcast that I have set up. The environmental protection scam. Oh yeah, I believe in reparations, but this is for environmental protections, and it's a grant, and I believe that is necessary. Okay, if it's necessary, reparations is necessary. Why don't we have these type of grants going directly to the foundational Black American and their descendants in order to pull us out of the economic destitute we've been put in systemically? And when I say someone interrupted our conversation, and then this one lady wanted to talk to me, I turned around for a hot second. He was on the phone for a second. And then I turned around, this dude was gone. Like god dang Batman, he was gone. Period. So when it comes to getting around these folks, you got to stand on your square, and you got to be able to really speak that truth. You got to talk that talk, and you can't be afraid to do so, because 2 days later on Fox News, it was Isaiah, I forget the brother who's on Fox, had the show on Fox. But 2 days later, Representative Reynolds was on that show. And he was out there speaking like me. Now notice, family, I'm not out here speaking like none of them. But they're out here taking our talking points and speaking like us. So that means if you have the balls to stand on your square for foundational Black Americans, they're going to stand on their square as well. Maybe not. Let me rephrase that. They're going to take their talking points to sound like they're standing on their square. So we're not allowing any of these pork chop preachers, especially people like Al Sharpton, to step up and act like he's giving anything of value to foundational Black Americans. Let's go here.
Way between the rise and the crucifixion. Yeah, you lost an election. Yeah, they taking away DEI. Yeah, they coming at Medicaid. Yeah, they coming with criminal justice deform rather than reform. That's the crucifixion. But I'm telling you, it don't look like it now, but we're going to rise again. There is a resurrection coming. Let them put all the nails they got in our hand. Let them hang us high. There's a God. They can mock us, put the crown of thorns on our head, but God will break through. I know he will. Why do I know? Because he always been there for us. He was there in emancipation time. He was there in civil rights time. He was there in women's rights time. God is still on the throne. Hold on through Saturday, Sunday morning. We're going to roll a stone back. He rise, never to fall again. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Don't you doubt him. Don't you bow. Don't you scrape. God is still on the throne.
Family, the first thing that he started talking about, was the Democratic Party. Didn't I say these people love their white supremacists? You might have took a loss. You might have lost an election. They might have been taking DEI. And then you see this ambiguous Latino looking dude stand up behind him as if you talk that talk, Pastor. You ain't got no black deacons sitting behind you standing up, clapping their hands. I grew up with Fat Al Sharpton too. But we're all sitting here having to witness, no matter what time period of Al Sharpton, we've had to go through Al Sharpton fat, Al Sharpton skinny, but either way, Al Sharpton has always been an informant and an agent of white supremacy. That's it. That's all. He is an agent of white supremacy. And this is something that I really, really hate. People know all the things that that's what I say about Amro Fudel. He's a goddamn Homeland Security agent. Why does he have a space to speak anywhere about foundational Black Americans? And I say the same thing about Al Sharpton. This man is an agent. We have him on paperwork. Why is he being held up as one of the great leaders in the Black community? That's weird to me. And all the older folks are rocking with him as if he's their last hope. He's the last living legend. And we're out here saying, hell no. You better sit your bobbleheaded ass down. He looks like a lollipop that got licked down to the center of the middle by one of the owls in the Tootsie Roll commercial. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? His body is a stick and his head is the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop. Just toffee. It's shaped weird. You ever seen Al Sharpton dancing? That clip of Al Sharpton dancing? It looked like a puppet with no strings. Oh, yeah. Al is a grifter. Absolutely. A straight up grifter. You like the fat Al? Maybe because, he looked healthy enough. This Al looked like he could kill over any damn day. So I can understand that. Yeah, Jesse Jackson got caught on that hot mic. 86th. Yeah, let's go here, family. Let's go here. We ain't done. We got some more to get to. Because these folks just don't know. We ain't here to play with these cats. Because here's the thing. This is the video right here I'm about to pull up. This video here. If this white boy is going around explaining the need for reparations for foundational Black Americans, then this bastard, Al Sharpton, and these other bastards who call themselves preachers have no excuse. Let's go here. Oop, wrong one.
Because think about it this way. White people didn't undergo 250 years of slavery and its aftermath. White people didn't suffer through racial segregation. White people didn't have a government that restricted their ability to own property, open a business, or own a bank account to grow generational wealth for their children and their children's children. White people didn't have to go through these things. So if we were just to ignore the fact that Black people in America had to go through all of these things that have now systemically disadvantaged them, even today, and we were instead to say, ignore one's race and treat everybody the same, well, then all of a sudden, Black people will continue to be disparaged. Imagine if you were playing a game of Monopoly with your friends, the banker, for whatever reason, really fucking hated you. He only gave you $10, gave everyone else $50, right? Then Mr. Jesus 2.0, man of equality, walks in and he says, well, I understand that you've been disadvantaged. I have the option to now give you an additional $40 to account for the fact that the banker kind of cheated you out of $40 to begin with. But instead, I'm just going to continue to treat you the same way I'm going to treat everybody else. Well, then all of a sudden, you're still experiencing a disadvantage today. And when we talk about programs or legislation to say target Black Americans or target Indigenous Americans, it aims to serve to fix the consequences of systemic forms of oppression in which have disadvantaged Black Americans or Indigenous Americans historically, which has perpetuated negative consequences that exist today for Black Americans or Indigenous Americans that don't exist for white Americans.
I agree with you. You know, we pushed them back. We held them down for so long. And, you know, whenever he finally was like, all right, you know, you can do whatever you want, they were down so low that it's hard to get up. I understand that. And I understand that we needed to pay a little price. But, you know, the question is going to come in, when does it stop?
I'm gonna give that man, show that man a little bit of love and respect. Let me tell you why. Because he just went out there and said everything that we be saying. And he had the respect not to smoke his goddamn vape until he got out everything he wanted to say. But if he's standing on the square and he's out here bringing the same information that we're bringing, he deserves more respect than Al Sharpton and every one of those preachers that's out there talking that nonsense. That's it. Shout out to Carlos Magnus, excuse me. Shout out to you, family. Thank you for being here. You've been here for a minute. I didn't even know you were here, family. My bad. I should have called you out earlier. Didn't see you come in. Anyway, family, let's go here. Because we done got through the salad. We done got through the appetizers. And now it's time to get to the main course. Oh, yeah. We got to talk about another pastor. People have been trying to figure out who the hell this pastor is and where's his family from for a while now. Our brother Black Alpha has been breaking down this brother for a while. And his last broadcast was phenomenal. So you know who we got to talk about. We got to go here, family. We got to go here. Let's talk about this, man.
No justice! No justice! When I say cease, you say pray. Cease! Cease! Hello, y'all. I'm Minister Dominique Alexander, president of the Next Generation Action Network. And I'm going to be very quick but real direct to what we are dealing with right now in America. To my brown and Black brothers and sisters. And I want you to know.
And salute to your mama, family. Salute to your mama. At least you can tell her, hey, Ma, you be very proud of me. I attended church today. I attended church for the first time in I don't know how long. Maybe you should come by one day. No, salute to you, family.
Today, that we stand in solidarity, not just by words, but actions. This isn't just a Latino issue. It isn't just a Black issue. It is a human rights issue. When families are ripped apart, when undocumented people are hunted down like criminals, when refugees are treated like threats instead of people, we all together should be outraged. But what is worse is when we continue to believe that we are different, that somehow, if we are coming for them, they are coming for us. That is a colonialized lie.
Tether Luther King fits this man very well because he tries so hard to sound like Brother Martin, and it's just not there. The conviction isn't there. The passion isn't really there. He sounds like a cosplayer, putting on his best impression. Absolutely.
Black people, Latino people, we are the backbone of this country. Our labor built it. Our culture shaped it. Our faith sustained us. Our voice must now lead. We are not the enemies. We are not the competitors. We are family in the struggle. So when Trump and his administration tries to divide us with hate and fear, we are the answer to unity and love.
Salute the random Instagata. I hope I said that right. Salute to you, family. You're absolutely right. Our reparations is a human right violation. We should have been given reparations. Salute to Willie Gross. Appreciate you for being here as well, family. Yeah, we should have been given reparations. And the fact that these people, everybody's working together to keep reparations out of our hands, that is a human rights violation. Willie Gross, shout out to you. Everyone needs to get these tethers away from Carmelo. I 100% agree. They're making things worse for him. Dominique Alexander needs to get ran out of there ASAP. Excuse me, family. Let me take a drink of water. And I absolutely agree with you, family. I'm going to also show what these napkins are actually saying about that, too. I'm going to show some of the hurting that this man is doing. But before we get there, let's talk about who he is. Let's get into some of these articles that show who Dominique Alexander, the man with two first names, is, with the exception to Jasmine Crockett's good friend and buddy. Salute to the Black Alpha Network for posting this as well. But let's go here, family. Let's go here to this article interview. Well, not interview, but news broadcast here.
Claim of domestic violence. Steve Pickett joining us live from Irving with more on Dominique Alexander.
We know there is a police investigation right now, Doug. Dominique Alexander telling me by phone today he had a dispute with the mother of his children. He said he didn't hit or hurt anyone. However, for whatever reason, that woman ended up in the hospital's ER here.
That is a sense of betrayal to me.
Alinka Green stood with Dominique Alexander just 2 days ago, calling for the arrests of those who attacked and beat a transgender woman in South Oak Cliff. She received a call this morning, learning of a police investigation into alleged domestic abuse involving Alexander and the mother of his children.
From what I understood, it was very violent to the point to where she had to go to the hospital.
You can't claim to fight evil and then stand aside when someone that you're friends with commits such an injustice.
Activist Jeff Hood, the same man who led with Alexander, The Dallas protest against police brutality on July 7th, 2016, when 5 police officers were shot. He said he saw injuries on the body of Alexander's girlfriend on yesterday. Took her to a DPD substation to file a family violence complaint.
Steve, it wasn't 2 weeks ago that we were out in the streets in Deep Ellum protesting, marching, screaming, shouting against violence against women. And here we are today seeing one of the chief leaders of that protest having committed a despicable act of violence against his partner.
Family, notice what he said, the people that they worship so damn much. He said he was out there with them protesting. And then as soon as something happens, he jumped right on the bandwagon with the news, right?
Being one of the chief leaders of that protest having committed a despicable act of violence against his partner.
Alexander, by phone this afternoon, denied any physical attack against the woman. He called it a family dispute.
It certainly hurts the movement when accusations like this are.
Oh God, not Sleeves Merritt. When Sleeves Merritt get brought out, you know there's some trouble going on there. You know it's some shenanigans.
Directed at leadership, and that's why we're held to a high responsibility.
As you can tell, there are a lot of people speaking on this, except the Dallas Police Department. Again, they say they're looking into this claim. Nothing more than that at this point. Reporting live, Steve Pickett, CBS 11.
All right, that's one. That's one. We're just trying to get a feel for who this guy is. That's what we want to do. We want to get a feel of who this guy is, because we don't know his background. We don't know anything about the man besides the fact that he is apparently a violent person. Let's go here. Oh, my bad, family. Y'all didn't even get that. Let me switch this over. My bad.
Bars this morning. Dominique Alexander is charged with 2 counts of family violence. And new at 11, we've learned the Dallas County District Attorney is recusing himself from prosecuting the case. That's because Alexander campaigned for DA John Creuzot in the last election. A judge will be asked to appoint an outside prosecutor now.
CBS 11's Andrea Lucia has more now on Alexander's arrest and his response.
Because you continue to come after us. A prominent activist who has often clashed with Dallas police over claims of brutality, Dominique Alexander is now facing his own allegations of violence. He was arrested on 2 charges of assault involving the mother of his 2 children. A judge issued an emergency protective order barring him from making contact with the victim.
You are not to go to or within 500 feet of the residence or place of employment of the person listed in your order.
According to a source familiar with the investigation, the victim accused Alexander of slamming her head against a wall and, in a separate incident, choking her. Hours before the arrest, he posted on social media writing, "Thank you, everyone, for your love and prayers for me and the victim. For God will direct our path."
And that was Andrea Lucia reporting. We should tell you that we've just learned within the last half hour that Alexander has posted bond on his assault charges, but he still has outstanding warrants for some other violations that he'll have to pay before he's released from jail. We've also learned late last night that he has a warrant out of Arlington for family violence in that city. That case involves the same victim, and it dates back to 2015. Police records show the woman accused him at that time of pushing her multiple times during an argument. Alexander was charged with a Class C misdemeanor. He did post bond for that charge this morning. Our Steve Pickett is following this story today, the case very closely. He's going to have an update for us coming up on.
All right, fam. So apparently, this man is a very violent man. And the fact that this man is a very violent man is a problem. It is a big problem. Because now you have this situation. And let me put this on ×2 so that we can get through this, because this is a pretty lengthy. Oh, and to answer your question, my brother AO, yes. He did say it was a transgender who they were up there protesting for. Somebody stomped out or attacked a transgender or something like that. Salute to her family payroll. Thank you for being here, family. Let's go here. So, family, this man has the background that he has, and apparently he has an issue in another state. I believe it was another state where he shook a baby or something like that. With all these issues together, it would make sense that you shouldn't be in the spotlight. You shouldn't be running a church, and you shouldn't be running an action network or whatever the hell you call your organization. You just shouldn't. This looks bad. So when people say that he needs to get away, I 100% fully agree. This is the family came out and spoke for the first time. And according to them, the last time until after the court case. Let's get into what this man said.
I want to start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America. What we've seen at the beginning of this press conference, of the father being at this press conference, these are my words, don't quote anybody, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life. No matter our opinion of it, we have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked, we have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf, because we respect the dignity of life and loss. And as a minister, I would not attack a grieving family, even if I disagree with them. When I have stood before this podium for people who have died at the hands of law enforcement, I ask for that same manner of respect. And even when the shoe's on the other foot, I will not do that. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character. Who was not invited, he knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family.
So, family, what he's talking about is Austin Metcalf's father showed up to the press conference, and Black Alpha went over that in full detail. So you can go and watch his breakdown of that situation. I'm not going to break down that situation because I have something coming tomorrow, and we're going to touch on the same situation. So I'm just not gonna, I don't want to be repetitive. So I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to talk about that. But he is speaking about the fact that Austin Metcalf's dad, Jeff Metcalf, ended up coming to the press conference and was there.
But he did. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop about this case. It is outright disrespectful. We haven't been doing it. The Next Generation Action Network has been here, popular and unpopular. So regardless of what's going on, that was disrespectful. Disrespectful.
Notice how he gave a shout out to his organization, the Next Generation Action Network, which sounds just like the National Action Network or whatever the hell Al Sharpton is calling his organization. Is his organization supposed to be a baby version of Al Sharpton's? I'm just asking for a friend. Yes, exactly. They both equal Black Lives Matter 2.0. But you're going to see a pattern of this. More and more, he's going to make this about himself. It's not about our brother Carmelo. It's not about our brother Carmelo's family and all the things they're going through. No, he makes it about himself.
And I will leave it to y'all to define it. But of course, we want to. Y'all, I'm Minister Dominic Alexander. I serve as the president of the Next Generation Action Network. Today, I come before you with a heavy heart but determined in spirit, not just as an advocate, but as a black man, as a father, as a protector, community, and children. There are 4 critical points I must address today, and I want to make sure that the public and the media and everyone who believes in truth and justice. First, the misinformation about the fund. From the very beginning, there was an intentional disinformation surrounding the fund created in the support of the Anthony family. The Carmelo Anthony Fund, hosted by Give, Send, Go, let's be clear, the family has not received one dime. Any of the media could have verified this, but we saw on Twitter, we saw on Facebook, and so many different things of the false lavish life of this family. $800,000 home, purchase Escalade, and private security. Let me make this very clear. The Next Generation Action Network has always had its security detail. Many of you that know us in the Dallas and Fort Worth media know that we have our own security detail.
And that's what the a major issue is too, because if you're your own security detail and you're providing security for the family and you're consistently around the family, that means you're consistently the face of the family. That's what that means. Salute to Michael K. I'm not going to say your last name, but I appreciate your Cash App and I appreciate your donation. Your gift is blessed tenfold. Thank you for your contribution. That's what he's doing here, family. As long as they can be around the family, he's now the face of the family. If he's providing security for the family, he's always around the family. It would seem that he's getting closer to the family than the actual lawyer in the case. So yes, I agree. Somebody needs to get and put a bug in the family's ear and get this man away from him. Because I guarantee you what's happening here, what's going to continue to happen, he's curving anybody who's trying to get in touch with the family to get him removed, to convince them to remove it. I guarantee you he is. He's like the spokesperson for some damn reason.
One of the individuals that escorted Carmelo Anthony out of jail is here present with us now. They are a part of the Next Generation Action Network security team. The family hasn't hired any private contractors or whatever, or splurged or whatever. But if they have the audacity to spend money for their safety and security, that's their prerogative. The family has not withdrawn, and just until recently, just yesterday, they were officially notified by Give, Send, Go that they could start the withdrawal process. But if anybody know about this process, they know that that takes about 2 to 3 days to withdraw from that and actually hit any account. But this blatant propaganda wasn't just about the fund. It was to discourage the public from giving to the fund. That's what this was about. Because just like TMZ was able to call, Give, Send, Go, everybody in the media, in these news outlets that I've never heard before, could have did the same thing. When I first called Give, Send, Go, they gave me every information that I needed. Okay? So that's what I'm going to say on regards to that. Let me make this very clear. This family never authorized a single fund on the GoFundMe platform. All of the funds that were raised on the GoFundMe were all fraud.
And I agree, AO. Everybody who has critiqued this situation has the very same critique. Why are you speaking at all? Why are you speaking at all? You shouldn't even be speaking. This is the lawyer's job to do. So you hold a press conference at your office, Next Gen Action Network or whatever, and you take center stage instead of having the lawyer come out and speak on these things. And that's what makes it even worse, because people know your background. But put a pin in that. We'll get back to it.
All of the funds that was raised on that platform were fraud, okay? The family was the first to report these funds. One of the funds we identified raised up to $11,000. So a post about anything that stated that GoFundMe took everything down regarding Carmelo Anthony, that was at the request of the families.
I'm pretty sure they can, but that would have to be a decision that they make. Especially, let's put it like this. I hope that whatever money they got or had, they did not get any like upfront money from this man's organization, because then they might feel beholden to him. Like if they were, let's say the Next Gen Action Network put up the $25,000 in order to get the young man out because the family didn't have access to those funds yet. If he did any of that, then unfortunately they might feel beholden to him because of the fact he did it. But people such as himself would do stuff like that if they can, because they know that that will put them in a favorable light in the family's eyes. So I hope he didn't do that. And I hope the family sees him for the grifter that he is and kicks him to the curb, seeing how he's literally hurting their son.
And their supporters. This family never tried to create an account on GoFundMe. The Next Generation Action Network is very well aware of the company's policy regarding raising funds for legal defense. Okay. Since this tragedy unfolded, the Anthony family has been subject to unimaginable amount of hate, racism, threats to their safety. People have sat outside their house, sent objects delivered to their door, publicly harassed, online and in person. This is not just about Carmelo. It's about the family who dared to stand and demand justice and in return and receive ugliness that racism in this country still breeds. But let me say this loud and clear. We are not scared. We are not moving. We will not be silent. What I've always said as the president of the Next Generation Action Network, we will never ask the oppressor for permission to liberate our people. We will not ask for permission to stand up for the rights of our children. The Next Generation Action Network has stood on both sides of the fence in ensuring that justice is served. Now getting to the information that the Next Generation Action Network wanted to share with the public today. And I will go ahead and pass it over to the mother and once I make this statement, okay? All right, there's two more final. For the last week and a half, the Next Generation Action Network has engaged in communications with Frisco ISD to ensure that Carmelo Anthony's due process is not violated. We know that in the state of Texas, there are things that are discretionary things and decisions by the leadership of Frisco ISD, right? There are clear guidance in the state and education code regarding expulsion of a student. We have asked.
Yes, Miss Nisi, he is trying to take credit for the services rendered by the foundational Black grassroots. And the thing is, more and more, you're going to see, and if the family is online, this is just my opinion, if the family is online and they're seeing more and more of the videos being produced and put out about this dude, hopefully they'll start asking questions. Because no matter what this dude says, he didn't put that money there and he didn't convince us to give that money. And if the family is seeing these videos, they're seeing how genuine we are, how we genuinely want their son to have the opportunity to defend himself in the court of law as he's awarded in the Constitution. But let's continue.
Several times. We didn't just rush. We have had these conversations over the last several days. And we have stated that it is just outright wrong to get involved in this. Carmelo Anthony doesn't have to walk. He doesn't have to involve in any senior activities. But Carmelo Anthony is a 3.7 GPA student. And if he doesn't even go to class for the remainder of the year, he will graduate. Okay?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He keeps plugging his organization, but what he's also about to do is now he's literally going to make it all about himself. Not just the organization, but himself.
We've asked that Frisco do not make a decision in this situation. But Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Carmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation. That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame. And what I have not heard the media say, as many media outlets have asked us what went on, I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why did you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media. Ask your journalists, your weather journalists, how the weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research. Because as a person who is the administrator of your children, you are responsible for the safety of the children.
Family, the question that he asks, one, it's a bad faith argument. He didn't ask a question that somebody who has the ears of everyone in the news should be asking. He asked them to go and look at the weather conditions and ask the schools why didn't they cancel the track meet. Now, family, the question I would ask is, where were all the adults Where were the coaches? Where were the referees? This is a track meet, right? Where were the adults? Where were the supervision? Why was this even a thing? Why was this young man able to walk over to another young man and act like this is the Jim Crow South and tell him to get up and move? Why? That's the question I would have asked, but guess what? He's not me. He's not Black Alpha. He's not Afro Elite. He's not Jason Black. He's not Toria Rain. He's not Kid Gravity. He's not Great Black Shark. He's not Jesse Paris. He's not Professor Truth. He's not Lisa Cabrera, because we would have asked the real questions. Where were the adults? How was this able to even happen at a school event? Where are the chaperones? Let's talk about it. Let's ask the questions that really matters when you're speaking to the media. And that's why you should not be speaking to the media. You should be sitting in the corner somewhere letting the attorney speak to the media.
And so it seems as if Frisco ISD is trying to push this off by making this decision that they do not have to make. So the Next Generation Action Network, outside of the legal process, will be going through different avenues regarding to ensure that we fight for the rights of Carmelo Anthony. Okay, so in the next coming days, we will be announcing to the public. We will do direct action outside of Frisco ISD administration office because this is outright wrong. You are getting involved in a process that even the legal process has asked us to respect. And we're asking you to do that same thing. You do not have to get involved in this situation. But it seems that even with us going to meeting or having conversations, they have made their mind up. And we want to make sure that the records, that we talk truth to power in regards. I wanted to lay this out to ensure, because of the sensitivity of this case, there are so many moving factors that I have to explain so that this family does not have to explain. Let me say this about the 4th, and let me repeat this so that you guys can go to the Frisco Police Department. The reason why the family or me or anybody with direct knowledge of this cannot talk about the particulars of what happened in that tent, I know you know this is all law, is because if anybody tell you there was an adult near or inside or whatever, this current investigation knows nothing about that. Everybody involved at this point of our knowledge are minors. And
how does the investigation know nothing about the adults that are there? That makes no sense. Because it was a school-sponsored event. So you're telling me that the school-sponsored event was led by nothing but kids? This is this is obscene. It is very obscene. It is very outlandish that this idiot would say what he just said. Oh, Jesus Christ, this guy's
in the state of Texas, you know we cannot release or talk about minors. So stop asking us the question. Stop. It's no, we can't even do it if we wanted to. Okay? We can't talk about it. So don't ask. There is a court of law that will express everything, will lay out everything. We can't talk about it if we wanted to. Okay? So make it clear. Go back, confirm with Frisco Police Department. Go back, confirm with the district attorney. Even in the bond hearing, you didn't see a single thing said about people that was indirect. They're minors. Okay? So stop. The social media, stop. I haven't saw not one person single-handedly get this right in the public. They're minors, y'all. Just stop. We can't. Don't send another inquiry to NGA inbox. Do this, all of that. That's the reason why we felt like it was important to do this press conference today. We can't talk about it. So if you ask me, I'm just going to look at you, okay? So I'm telling the world. Everybody knows the state law. I'm not creating it. We can't talk about it. This family can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. Nobody, unless you want to be sued. You release one of those 16-year-olds or 15-year-olds and 17-year-olds, and the law of this land tells you what's going to happen to you, okay? So don't ask that question. Finally, in regards to this judge.
Family, I want to remind y'all of something. He said if you release the names of all the minors, you could get sued. Okay. All right. Family, we sat right here on this broadcast Well, not on this broadcast, but on another broadcast. But right here on this channel, we sat here and read the police report. What happened to the so-called adult who walked into the police station and said he was a witness? They didn't release his name either. He's not speaking out. I'm just saying, I'm just asking for a friend, because he's so fixated off of all of the kids and you can't say their names and all this other stuff, but he's not bringing up the fact that, you know, there is another witness that they said was an adult that was written down on that paper. So when he says we don't know that there was any adults there, that's an absolute lie, because in the police report it states that someone walked in and said that he was a witness. Salute to you, Mia Kim. Absolutely. Meanwhile, in South America, the Dems are rallying to get violent criminal gang members back into America. Absolutely right. Yep. The DA not even speaking out. Absolutely. His name can't be released for some reason, or hasn't been released. I wonder what he said he saw. Inquiring minds want to know. They ain't seen nothing, heard nothing, or said anything. Oh yeah, Miss Nisi, in my opinion, the video will show the truth absolutely as well, and that's why it ain't been released yet. Trust me, if they had something on them, they would have been released it. They would have been released it. Yep, absolutely. Want airtime, FaceTime. He wants clout. He wants clout. Let's go back here, family. We're almost through this.
I do not know Judge Angela Tucker. I've never met her, never known her, never been nowhere near her court. Don't know anything about her until we were notified that she was going to hear the writ. But the ugly attacks on her just shows Black America that no matter what you pick in the ballot box, and that is your constitutional right, it's people out here reminding us of the Black struggle in America. This woman is a registered Republican, has been for years. She put herself through school, she raised her family, she did everything. I'm a registered Democrat, proud. I'm the chair of the Dallas County Democrat Resolutions Committee. I don't know that woman. And to call her leftist, it's just downright disrespectful. The bond that was given is according to law and consistency with practice. If Aaron Dean can get a $300,000 bond when he killed Tatiana Jefferson, Carmelo Anthony can get a $250,000. If Amber Geiger can get a $200,000 bond when she kills Botham Judge in his own home, he can get a $250,000. If Roy Oliver can get a $200,000.
With all this, I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, I agree with what he's saying here. Broken clock is right twice a day, I guess you say. However, this is where everything goes left before he even gives the microphone to the mother.
$150,000 bond after he kills Jordan Edwards. All white officers. Why couldn't Carmelo Anthony be entitled, a child with no background, no criminal background, no endangerment to the community, none whatsoever, be placed on a ELM and brought home? Please help me understand. Make this make sense. It's consistency. It's consistent with practice. After this, y'all, so that we'll know, this will be our final press conference until this trial. We will not speak to the media again after this, okay? Don't ask a comment, question, or whatever it is. The actions that the Next Generation Action Network take on Frisco ISD will be separate from the legal process because we want to make sure that Carmelo Anthony's due process. This is going to be a jury case. And then let me make this very clear. This is a case that has not even been indicted. So under the guise of Texas law, it's not even really proceeding to a trial yet because it has not even went through a grand jury to be indicted. We don't know if a grand jury will indict or not. We don't know. That's in the district attorney's hands, okay?
A shout out, AO. That just means we're cooking. We cooking. And trust me, we almost through the dinner. We're almost through the dinner. Trust me when I say this is one of the last things I want to show you guys. Well, this is the last segment.
And their legal team is preparing a packet for those things. And we will not be talking about the legal process regarding this case, okay? So after today, I just want the media to know, and I want the public to know. I don't care what you say about me. I've been in this thing for 11 years. I am tried, tested, and proven. I'm gonna just say, I'm from Oak Cliff. Worser things have been said about me, baby. You don't gotta inbox me, you ain't gotta tell me. I am the first person to tell my testimony. I don't have to prove anything to nobody. I am a proven testimony standing here that God, even when you make mistakes, God is not finished with your story. I'm gonna bring this mother, Kayla Hayes, and it has taken her a lot of strength, y'all, to come and do this today. And I want you guys to respect her as she read this and giving her the respect that she deserves, y'all.
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Carmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas, searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband worked hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff.
Family, I'm gonna say this, and shout out to our brother Black Alpha once again, because he said this last night. Excuse me, not last night, the night before last, where he was saying this makes them look weak. As a people, it makes us look weak. Having this mother up here crying, talking about she fears for her safety, it don't sit well with me. And listening to her statement, it sounds like it was written by him. It sounds like he written this statement for them. Instead of saying all of these reporting lies, they are all lies. Let me rephrase that. All of these reports that are coming out are all lies, and the Anthony family will not be threatened. We will protect ourselves. Instead, she's out here. Let me just go, because I don't want to seem insensitive. I understand what the sister's going through. Really, I believe the father should have spoke. And the father should have let it be known that I'm willing to go as far as I need to protect my family. Because white supremacists, they want soft targets. They want soft targets, my family. But when you got that spirit of Majora, when you got that spirit of revolution, the spirit of rebellion, you got to understand the optics of what's going on around you and how people see things. When they threatened our brother Malcolm X, what did he do? He was standing in the window with the AK. And they took that picture and put it out there. You know why they took that picture and put it out there? Because they wanted everyone to see the optics of the situation. You're not going to come and threaten my family. And if you think you're going to come for me, you're going to get the fight of your life. Now, many people say, we don't want, people like the NIO going down there because it might make them look bad. It already looks bad. At least they'd be protected. At least they would be protected. But a lot of these folks, they're being misled. They're being told to do it a certain way. It's the same thing that Bing Crump would do when something happens to one of our young brothers and sisters. He'd go to the family, get them under his wing, and then he would tell them, hey, don't go out there with the angry black woman stuff. Don't go out there with the angry black father stuff. You got to forgive, because if you want to get a payday out of it, You got to seem like a timid Negro, an unthreatening Negro. It's the same thing that he's doing here. Exactly. They don't give a damn about your family. They want you to feel fear. They want you to be fearful. That's how they know that they're getting through to you. When they was trying to get through to us, oh, you're going to get put back on the plantation, all this other stuff. And we ain't show no fear. We wasn't running around here scared because people were sending text messages out to people talking about report back to the plantation. They got to troll to get people to fear them. We don't have that spirit of fear as foundational Black Americans. We have a spirit of fight, fight, fight. I wish a nigga would is our spirit. I wish a nigga would is the spirit of the foundational Black Americans. And this just doesn't show that. Let's continue.
Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we're being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a two-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution, we believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, we will not speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day. There's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in the legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
And I want to be very clear when I say this, family. My heart breaks for the family. My critique does not take away my support. I'm just going to have to call a spade, though. And if we don't, then I guarantee you nothing will change. It's us that's actually moving the needle on everything. So the more that we call a spade, the more they're able to actually look at these situations and make tough decisions, make tough choices. Ask themselves if this man really hurting or helping their son's case. That's what they need to do. They need to be asking themselves, is this man helping or hurting our son's chances of getting off? Pause. And once they sit there and break down all of this, they'll be able to see with clear eyes that, yeah, this dude is really hurting our son's case. All day. FBAs in Frisco area need to get behind the family and stand strong with them so that they can get the strong positive vibes from the FBA. We're behind them 100%. Absolutely, family. And I hope they see this. And I hope they see other people in the new Black media speaking on this. And I hope they see all the people on social media who's speaking out against this very same thing. And I hope that they believe and they take the time to really think about it. Is this man really helping or hurting? Because the optics are bad. Let's continue. Oh, don't start that YouTube. We're right at the end. This is where this man really start making it about himself. Hold on. Okay.
Y'all, I'm gonna show something of a post. You come for me, I come for you. Sarah Fields. Never heard of this one. This is the kind of despicable things that led to the father being here. Political operatives motivating this family with hate. Carmelo Anthony posted on something that shows, posted here. These are the type of lies that are threatening this family. Posting the family's picture. These are the type of lies. She's getting millions of views on this. Sarah, she's even came after me. She's even said all of those things. And now that the public knows exactly what is going on, I ask, because these racist bigots try to prevent us from standing up for our baby, our boy, he should be afforded the same rights that Cal Rittenhouse had, Daniel Pinner, and all of the people who have claimed whatever their defense was. He should be afforded the same right. Nobody in the public media has one video camera, but we got the video of Cal Rittenhouse with an AK-47 shooting 3 people in the back. We got that, and he raised more than $2 million publicly, and nobody said anything. So since they tried to come for us, I call for the community's overwhelming support for this fund.
Notice how he tried to make it seem like he's the one leading this situation. I call for the community to continue the overwhelmingly support. We already said we were going to do that regardless of you. If you're removed from the situation, guess what? We're still going to be doing that. You're not nobody special, sir. You're not the person that got this going. We got this going as a organic, foundational, black grassroots campaign. That's what we did. We continue to allow it to go on as a foundational black roots campaign, because if we didn't support, they wouldn't have seen that quick turnaround in the way they did. They wouldn't have seen it if we wasn't supporting. And unbeknownst to any of you, coons or tethers, we was doing it without anybody having to ask us to do it. We was doing it without anyone having to ask us to do it. Yeah, that's a sweet picture there. I just wish he wasn't in it. Remove him from the picture and it'll be a great photo. It's an Anthony family FBA because they shouldn't be this far outside of our loop/lineage, respectfully. Honestly, brother, I don't know. I don't know. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not FBA because they're out of the loop like this. Because, like I said, if he swooped in their time of need, they might feel beholden to him. But I absolutely, I do agree with you on that. It seems like they're far out of the loop. But then again, and I'm not trying to make it about Democrats or Republicans. If they're Democrats, he's been preaching this Democratic message as a Democratic pastor. That's what he's been doing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they feel comfortable with them. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I truly understand and agree that, Miss Nisi, and trust me, I would be up there too. If they offered me a sit-in space where I could talk to them, oh, I would definitely, he would be gone. He'd be gone by the end of the day. I promise you, he would be gone by the end of the day. Because I would show them what I'm getting ready to show you guys. But let's get finished with this right here, and then we can round this off.
Information that was put out was literally deliberate to prevent you from helping this family. And I want you to give overwhelming support to show them, the community, for this fund. The disinformation that was put out was literally deliberate to prevent you from helping this family. And I want you to give overwhelming support to show them, the community united can never be divided. And I'm going to say this again. and this is for everybody. Black people in America, while the current occupant sits at 1600 Pennsylvania, Black people in America don't have to pull the race card. It's what we live as.
Notice how he just made this about Donald Trump. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with left or right. But the second he had an opportunity, he brings Trump into this. So now you're trying to make an enemy of the Anthony family with half of the goddamn America. All the people who voted for Trump, all you have to do is invoke his name and you got a bunch of MAGA mutants coming out of nowhere trying to defend him. So why the hell would you do that? And that's why you shouldn't be speaking. That's why the attorney should be there speaking. You have no sense of any type of logic in your mind saying some dumb stuff like that during a time where they're already being attacked and targeted. It makes no damn sense that you would do anything or say anything like that. You might as well give him a jacket with a target on the back. He might be a part of his mess. He might be a part of his mess. I'm not going to lie. Because the way he shut him down during that press conference once they got Carmelo out of jail, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it looked like he was working for him and not the other way around. It didn't look like he was working for the family. It looked like he was working for the network. Exactly. He's politicizing a case that isn't a political case. He's doing the exact same thing that he was claiming that the online white supremacists, well, not claiming, that the online white supremacists are doing, but you're sitting there calling them out on it, and then you turn around and do the exact same thing and call out a man who ain't said nothing about the case at all. Not to my knowledge. Yeah, he's trying to sabotage the case. He's BLM, I guarantee it. Shilling for the Democrats. Jesus, yeah, he got that big old ego. Yeah, most likely. I hope so. Because the look on her face as he's saying this, it doesn't look like she's like okay with what he's saying. It looks like she might not even be there. She might have even checked out. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's continue here.
As reality every day. It's what we have to teach our children. We don't want to, but we have to. We don't like to, but if we want to sleep at night, we got to. I ain't pulling no race card. I live it. I'm reminded all the time that I'm a black man in America. And what y'all just showed to Judge Tucker is just reminded that hate and bigotry and racial reconciliation in this country, we have respected the process. I believe that Austin Metcalf is about to have his funeral. And I wouldn't dare, even with the information I know, and plenty of people can share that and all that, but we have prevented from speaking about that in these type of public forums. It will come out. They have a more than well-capable attorney, and this family will go through a process of being able to get prepared for this trial. So I just say this real quick. This is our final time speaking to public and holding a press conference regarding this particular case. Now, the Next Generation Action Network will talk about Frisco ISD, but we will not do this. I will not ask this mother to do this again. The attorney will not. We won't do this again. Don't ask. We will see you at trial. Whatever venue that is, we will see you there. I stand 10 toes down supporting this family. And I want to thank all of the community leaders and people that I've seen that came here today.
All right, family. Ooh, that's basically what we need to see out of that. I don't. Hold on one second here. because I have questions. But let's get to the family real quick. I want everybody to know that people are seeing it for what the hell it really is. Let's go here.
For the family of Carmelo Anthony, if you screwed yourself by getting up there and let that ignorant man talk, who has a criminal record. This just, I got the receipts. The man is not the one that should be advocating for anybody. That minister. But he made an enemy of half the country. This was already a racial point. They should have just let the mother talk, because hers was very heartfelt. You know, you could feel her pain. But what just happened was he just shot himself in the foot and really insulted the whole country. He insulted the president of the United States. He called America racist. He insulted the father of Austin Metcalf. He insulted the Donald Trump, the president of the White House. He played the victim. It just really, if they want any hope for their son, they need to stop him from talking.
The family of Carmelo Anthony, his mother and father, held their last press conference. They said they're speaking to the public before the trial, which is understandable. I know they've dealt with a lot of harassment, a lot of people overstepping boundaries, and I send them nothing but love, because nobody wants to go through this, especially with their child. The parents are innocent in this, no matter what side of this you're on. The parents are innocent in this, on both sides, even with Austin too, but this is about Carmelo's family. But I'm leaning on my Dallas area folks for what I'm about to ask. The guy Dominique Alexander, who was speaking on the parents' behalf, who is that man? Because that was not a good look at all. I don't think he's an attorney. I think he's the head of some organization. But when he first opened his mouth, I was like, this guy sounds like a preacher. Like, you speak to the press, I don't think you rely on a preacher for this. But later on through the speech, he did say he was a preacher. But it just, and then of course he talked about he made it about himself at a point in time where he talked about his checker past, and he knows people are attacking him. And it's just like, this ain't got nothing to do with you. Why are you doing that? I just don't think the family should have had him speaking on their behalf surrounding this. But it's over now. They're quiet until the court proceedings, which I think is the best move. But yeah, I don't know Dominique Alexander from a can of paint. I'm only taking what the charges that I've seen he had from 19 to 31, and how he presented himself during that press conference. The family of Carmelo Anthony, his mother and father, held their
Minister Dominique Alexander leaves much to be desired. And if he really cares about Carmelo Anthony, which I assume he does, I wish he would do some soul searching and decide if he's the optimal person to represent this young man at this crucial time. Because I don't think he is, folks. And it's not all based on the past record. It's based on his handling of the press conference itself, and taking this opportunity with the entire world watching to let this be about him and his grievances. I mean, you literally are naming trolls. Trolls. Literally naming trolls from the press conference. Online trolls we should not know. And then taking a shot at the president of the United States. For what? How can that help you in Texas? How is that helpful in a red state to take a swipe at Trump during a press conference that's got nothing to do with Trump? How can that be considered smart? It's not smart. And that's what minister.
So
sitting here reading the commentary on my last post regarding Carmelo Anthony and the debacle that these community activists in Dallas have created. And let me just say this, I can say with confidence that I truly believe this group of individuals is probably one of the worst things that could have happened to any attorney presenting a defense for a young man accused of such a serious criminal offense. There used to be a time when people would get in trouble and the only person they really wanted to speak to would be an attorney. But now we're living in this era where there are these self-proclaimed community activists who get a hold of families before the family has an opportunity to get a hold of an attorney. And that's where things go bad. I don't fault the family for not knowing how to properly navigate tragedy. I do fault the people who see that and then use that as an opportunity to capitalize and sensationalize issues that should not be at the forefront of this kid's defense. You know, scandal came out and everybody suddenly thought they could be Olivia Pope, but what made Olivia Pope legitimate is that Olivia Pope was a lawyer. These people are not lawyers. These people do not understand juries. These people do not understand the Constitution. These people do not understand the penal code. These people do not understand the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. They don't understand anything. They are moving in a space that they have no business being in. So they took it upon themselves to hold a press conference without even consulting competent counsel about what their plan would be and made race the main issue when this case never had to be about race. I truly hope and pray this family runs quick, fast, and far away from this activist group and immediately disassociate themselves because their ideas and philosophies are not aligned with the defense that Carmelo Anthony's attorney is slowly unveiling to the public. And if those two things are not congruent, this will be a recipe for disaster. Watch.
All right, family. So we're going to round it off with this here. I told you I want to show you that he's hurting our people. He's hurting our family down there. Carmelo, excuse me. Let me show you this real quick. One second, family. My apologies. Oh, yeah. He's definitely a plant. He's definitely a plant. I definitely believe he's a plant. But look at what these people are saying. This is Sarah Fields. This is the guy that he was talking about during the press conference. It says Dominique Alexander, a felon who beat a baby to the point of a brain injury, and his acting as an advocate. I think she meant, and he's acting. And is acting as an advocate for Carmelo Anthony's family. Is angry that I exposed him for who he is, a grifter, race pot stirrer, running a fraudulent organization. That right there, family, alone, standing next to a person who's getting called out like this is bad. Shout out to MD Williams. Thank you for being here, family. He called me out by name during his press conference. He held up my post, including Carmelo's arrest report, which I obtained through the FOIA, and the post in which I was threatened, a stranger choose to highlight, among others, He claimed my intent was to interfere with Carmelo's family receiving assistance. This man has placed a target on my back. Placed a target on me and my family for reporting the truth and investigating him and his organization. This is who he is, and I will not be intimidated. I am no stranger. I am no stranger to threats. I have received them nearly every hour for the last 4 days. It will likely get worse. Pray for my family. Now she's over here using her white, skin and those white, tears. She ain't even tearing up, but did you hear it in there? I'm no stranger to threats. Pray for me and my family. Yeah. Okay. But I want to go here. And we'll end on this, family. This is Dominique Alexander, the man advocating for Carmelo Anthony. Take a look at his rap sheet. Birds of a feather flock together. And then they have this long list. Felony injury to a child, 2009. Forging a check, 2009. Leading police on a high-speed chase, 2009. Stealing a car, 2009. Falsely claiming a car was stolen, 2009. Offensive physical contact, 2015. Probation violations, 2016. Felony theft of property, 2016. Felony assault cause serious bodily injury, 2019. Misdemeanor assault, 2019. Continuous violence against the family, 2019. Theft, undated. Making false reports, undated. Invalid arrest, undated. Do we really want our family standing next to this person and they're throwing out all these receipts on him like that? I would say to you, no. I would have to say to you, no. So yes, I pray that the family, they see all this and they see the family and the Black grassroots really genuinely wanting their protection. And they make the decision to get this man away from our young brother. That's my hope and that's my prayer. But with that being said, family, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click that link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. Family, always remember, can't nobody talk to us about nothing. We've been running this. We've been fighting for us, and we've been fighting for people globally. So we're not going to allow anybody to come to us and try to change the dynamic of how we were able to make it this far in the first place. If you want to worship white supremacy, go back to your home country and do it there. But over here, on this land that our ancestors built, we ain't doing that. We never have, and we never will. That's what it is. I want to make sure y'all hear me loud and clear. When it comes to foundational Black Americans, they're not like us. And we're not like them. We fight white supremacy. They praise white supremacy. We call out white supremacy. They ignore white supremacy. We fight for the betterment of our children, and they would rather sell their children. We're not the same. The Most High has given us a spirit of rebellion. And we use that spirit to the utmost of our ability. So all these fleechers, the fleeing preachers who feel the need to come over here and try to change who we are so that it'll be better for them, you might as well turn right on back around and walk right back across that border. Because if you don't like how we do things here, take your ass home. And with that being said, family, the doors of the church are now closed. Miss Nisi, thank you for reminding me. I will make sure to do that as soon as I close this out now. So for everybody who comes back in the next broadcast, you'll have the wrench. Everybody that I give the wrench to. My day ones, you're going to be getting the wrench. I'll just let y'all know right now. But with that being said, family, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever can't stand us black people, he doing everything in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing, us black people going to survive. So fuck everybody. I'm out.